In 3, 2, 1. Yes, we're still here. Yes, unfortunately for all those who are watching, we're still here. We're still making more episodes. I kind of had the feeling like people were
Yes,
hoping yes, they haven't posted
stopped.
in a while. They're gonna stop. I was hoping it as well, but I was like,
we're too busy voting.
Yeah, exactly. God damn, you have to ruin my segues, don't you? Always have to ruin them. No, man. Yeah, I was hoping we stopped as well, just because I was getting sick and tired of this podcast. But I had nothing else to do on a Friday night. COVID's kind of ending, and I'm still a loser, so this is what I'm doing. No, I'm joking, guys. So for those, obviously, we're not live. We're watching. We know we don't do this podcast live, but it's currently Friday. What's November 6th?
Yes.
Friday,
I think
November
so.
6th. This is election week 2020. This is going down in the record book. It's going to be crazy in 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. See if we're still alive. That, hey, we lived through one of the most crazy and tumultuous years, right? 2020, it's just all culminated to this crazy election week that's just been blasting all the news outlets, all the media, social media. I know mine's been.
Yeah.
People been posting stories, posts. It's just crazy. So let's just jump right into it. Obviously, we got some rapists in Lincoln Park. They're coming in your window. No. See, this is where it's crazy because you have to be respectful, careful, politically correct. You got to be open-minded, and you got to be honest, and you got to do all these things.
Because I feel like no one's being that way. You know what I mean? I guess, man, the thing that, for the record, I didn't fucking vote.
Yeah.
I've never voted.
Yeah.
I'm registered to vote, but I never do.
I don't even know if I'm registered.
I don't want to get blamed for this country going to shit.
It's a lot of pressure, man, honestly. People are going to vote willy-nilly and you're sweating and all that. They're in and out within 10 seconds.
Like when
damn.
you're deactivating a bomb.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think I would have gone back to my high school days with the Scantron where I just dropped the pencil and whatever one it hits.
Patterns,
oh
right?
my God.
On the Scantrons, and you were just you didn't know what you're doing, so you're just
and when in doubt, bubble C. So whoever was C on the ballot is
the
who
liberals.
fucking...
They're going to end up winning and stealing by election. No,
what's that Green Party, the Independent?
Green Ranger Party?
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin.
Mighty Morphin Power
I would have voted
Green
for
Ranger saved the...
He just has... he looks like you can trust him.
I get why they run, but why do you run? You're not going to win.
I don't know.
I think they get a bonus.
Yeah, they get a bonus.
Yeah,
like
the one that
made it.
The one that makes it to represent them gets $1 million bonus.
Yeah, just hey man, you made it this far. That's crazy.
Yeah. No, but
I was saying that it's not difficult to speak about. It's just man, you're saying you have to be really careful with what you say, just because
the thing is, man,
there's so many factors that you got to consider.
The thing is that it would be great to be able to speak politics and be able to just give your opinion, and that's all it is, a conversation.
Yeah.
But it's it's almost worse than talking about religion with somebody.
Oh, it is worse. Yeah.
And it shouldn't be. I remember, when I was what I was going to say, before this is that I remember 10, even 15 years ago, even when I was a teenager, growing up, I would remember my mom would always go vote, right? And her mom would always go vote too. And I remember it was a secret.
Yeah.
They wouldn't tell anybody shit. They wouldn't tell them what party they, were supporting, who they were voting for. Back in the day, it was like a secret, man. You took that shit to the grave with you. And now it's opposite. Now it's you want to purposely promote who you're going for. I have never seen so much memorabilia in my life, dude, especially Trump. I see more of that shit than I do Texans and Astros shit. So he's somebody's getting rich off of that.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it's a big secret. Oh, it was a big secret. Now it's just
cat's out the bag.
It's you're purposely wanting people to know.
I
you're
think a lot
promoting
it. I think social media has a lot to do with it now, this day and age specifically. That everybody's, I was talking to Jonathan about it. Jonathan, wherever you are, screw you for not being on the podcast.
Yeah, I think aliens abducted him again.
Yeah, aliens abducted him again. Trump probably.
I think he's got a family somewhere in space.
He's protesting this election or somewhere from space on Mars, colonizing up there. No, I was talking to him but we were talking about it recently, and it's Because like you were saying, back in the day, it was a big secret. Mom would go vote, and she'd come back, and you'd be, "Hey, Mom, who'd you vote for?" "Oh, I can't." I mean, obviously, she'd probably tell us ultimately who she voted for. But
she would not tell anyone else.
Yeah, no one else for sure.
Like, hey,
and like you said, it was like, and it's kind of goes to that old, like when you talk to your in-laws, right? Don't talk politics or religion, just because it gets messy, and there's a lot of feeling and opinion and strong opinions, rightfully so, right? Just like with religion, you would hope you'd have a strong conviction with, these things that dominate your life that are ultimately going to dictate how you live your life, right? Politics being how you're going to live your practical life, and religion being how you're going to live your spiritual and emotional and whole life, right? But it's funny now because I was like, in reality, you would think, because we were potentially going to have people come on, and I was thinking like, okay, it's rude to just ask somebody, because I'm coming from that same school of thought as you, like, you would never really, hey, who'd you vote for?
Put somebody on the spot like that.
It's rude, right? Kind of like asking a woman her weight or something, But I was like, it's kind of weird because you would think that's something I wonder when it became rude to ask somebody that or to talk about it, because ideally you would think, hey, that's something that I guess there's twofold, right? Because you could argue, hey, if it's so personal, that's why I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it with anybody. It's so close to home for me. But then you were like, well, on the other hand, if it's so close to home and personal, you would think you'd want to talk about it and express yourself and kind of share your opinions and thoughts. But like, to your point, it's unfortunate that we're not at that point anymore. Or if we ever were, that we're no longer there. Or, we never were, that you can openly, and it's on both sides, right? I mean, I'm saying sides right now because obviously the election is between the Republicans and Democrats at this point, Biden and Trump right now, right? And on both sides you have it where nobody's really being civil about it. Some people are, right? I mean, social media brings out the worst of us, I think. They're just putting all that slander
Guaranteed
out there.
The ones that are being civil about it are the ones that aren't telling people who they voted for. The ones that are keeping it close to the chest, and they're going to see how it plays out, but they know who they voted for. And I guarantee you it's those people that can talk more political sense than the ones, screaming out loud on who they voted for and all this bullshit going on today. To me, man, social media is great for a lot of things. But, we've talked about it plenty of times. It's also the downfall for a lot of shit, too. It causes chaos, right? People post something and they're later, within minutes, 1 million people have seen it and they believe it and they run with it. And I think that's where all the chaos, like in this election this week, is a lot of it's social media driven. I mean, even the damn presidents are tweeting and shit like that. Like
everybody is one.
I mean, to me, bottom line, it's a circus. It's a joke.
I think you were saying it was akin to almost like reality TV.
It's almost like reality show, man. Like, goddamn. Like, and unfortunately, reality TV, like the Kardashians and shit, is what people love. That's what they live for. That's what helps them almost seem like make it through the day, because they know they got a show to watch, right? And that's the way of the world today. So this is like must-watch TV, So,
big difference. Yeah. When the Kardashians is over, it's over. This is like, we're going to live with the consequences of this. And just going real quick, because I'm going to ask both of you guys, because I really want to hear you talk about it. But like, you brought up a cool point about social media, good for a lot of things, but it also, like you said, it creates shit storms for a lot of other things as well. And I think one of the bigger things is that now, like you said, you post something and within a minute, 1 million people have seen it. And what it's also doing is like, now everybody has a damn opinion. Like you were saying, politics, you were talking about this earlier. Like, if you don't know what you're talking about, just kind of shut. I mean, obviously everybody, you're entitled to opinion. But the thing about social media is like, it's sharing that opinion with millions and millions of people, when in reality, you probably shouldn't be sharing that. You shouldn't have that platform to talk,
like, the knowledge,
reach 1 million people when you really don't know what you're talking about, And that's the crazy thing. And that's also what we were talking, as we were joking, like, we didn't want to get blamed. We didn't vote because we didn't want to, have the failure of the nation.
It wasn't really that,
No, we were joking. But honestly, it's kind of like, it goes to the point that now with all this media, social media, the news, and you're kind of almost going crazy. Like, what do I believe? What's true? What's not? You got to do your own research, right? Unfortunately, you really have, for the simplest things too. It used to be before, like, hey, they spoke, that's their policy. Okay, cool. He spoke, that's their policy. Cool. Choose which one you like better and vote for that person.
But it's
now
like you're saying,
man,
like, now it stops there on social media. Nobody goes and does the research. They just believe whatever they see, like you were saying.
Or somebody thinks they did their research and will
social
post
media
it,
is
and now people are believing
now people are following it,
social
running
media
with
is like
it.
the new encyclopedia, but unfortunately, most of the shit on there is
not true.
It's like Wikipedia and all that bullcrap. Wikipedia's probably more factually correct.
Yeah.
But it's cool because we decided to do this podcast today because we were talking about this OG for Guzman podcast that obviously we know we're not going to be the next JRE, Joe Rogan and all that, right? But I think we can have some meaningful conversations, if not even just for us, whoever watches, for the people who come on. But we said ultimately it'd be cool down the line to have memories that, hey, we actually did something like this. And it's going to be cool, you know, if we get through this podcast today and save it, post it and whatnot, to be able to look back one day in the future and be able to see that, man, this was a crazy election. I don't know if it's ever gone this long before. You know, the whole week to, you know, see who the president-elect is. I mean, it used to be on Tuesday night, you would know who the fucking new president was. Yeah. Now it's like president-elect, meaning he's been elected, but we still got to confirm if everything's good. So obviously we're living in a crazy, tumultuous time here. And like I was saying at the beginning, you have to be careful with what you say because some people are going to say, no, it's never been as divided. I think we're doing good. You know, Trump made it good, blah, blah, blah. But for me personally, I don't know. That's the thing about social media. You kind of see what's out there, you know. We're living in kind of a crazy time, a very divisive time, you know, where it's just...
Well, I mean, look at the numbers. Exactly. You know, you see the numbers and it's split down the middle.
You know? Well, who knows? I don't know equally how you want to split it.
I mean, my thing, man, like, and I know Mandy, I think she's the most, like, savvy and up-to-date with politics than the three of us here.
Yeah.
I'm not really... obviously I keep up with today's news and I stay pretty current, but I don't take deep dives into reading shit that's boring.
Doesn't interest me. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really interest me a little bit.
But, you know, Trump gets blamed. You know, I know we weren't really talking about either or, but like Trump gets blamed for a lot of like this racism and all this stuff. Racism's been around for a long time, since we're little, since forever, really.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say he's the reason like people are racist today, but I definitely do think that he didn't do anything to help.
Well, see, that's right? I was in a question for you guys really quick. I'll ask you first, I guess, because you're speaking right now, and then Mandy, get to it too, because I know you wanted to make some good points. So I guess if you had to say, not to put you guys on the spot or anything, right? You don't have to get as personal as you want to, I guess, but what would you say is kind of the issue at large that you see going on in this country? Obviously, we live here. Like you guys were saying, we obviously didn't grow up. So people could be insulted by it, right? Who cares? It's really none of your business. We didn't grow up the most patriotic of, diehard American. You know, maybe we did. Maybe we're the most diehard Americans. We don't even know it, right? Because we grew up all our lives. This is all we know. Yeah. But if you could just put in your own words, I guess, what you could kind of see. I mean, because you guys have been here, obviously, you listen to the news the past 4 years, everything that's been going on, all that. What would you say is like the larger issue at hand? And what do you think? Not so much as a solution. I'm not asking because you're obviously not going to be the next president or anything, but I guess what's bothering you with it? What do you see? What's kind of wrong with both candidates, and just kind of give your opinion on the whole situation. Yeah,
so really. I mean, the way I look at it, man, is like. Well, the short answer, I guess, is we can talk on and give our opinion, because that's what it is for me, my opinion, what I live day to day. But the biggest thing for me and the way I see it, and people can, you know, I know people are going to be upset, it's your civic duty to go vote. All right, but those same people telling me that if I voted for the person they were going against, they're going to be pissed at me like, fuck, you shouldn't have voted. So it's voting's cool when it's convenient for whoever wants us to vote for them, right? But the way I see it and the way I've always seen it, and again, people can be pissed at me, maybe. I've lived here 33 years. I love the country. I want it to do good. I still think that this is the best country to live in because of the freedoms that we have, the ability to choose a lot of the things, right? So love the country. Doesn't have anything to do with me not voting. But at the end of the day, the way I see the president is just a figurehead. What I expect from him, though, is obviously the president. I don't give a shit who you are, Republican, Democrat, Independent. You're not calling all the shots, man. Like, there's so much shit that has to happen for whatever you propose to get approved. No one's going to let you make such a horrible decision. What you can control, though, is your speeches, you know, talking to other countries, talking to this country, how you represent us, because at the end of the day, you're our voice. You're the voice of the United States of America, right? People are going to hate me, but I think Trump's an idiot. He can't speak well. Idiot when it comes to public speaking. Mm-hmm. He's great for the shows that he's been on in the past. He's great. You know, he's like must-watch TV. He's intriguing because he's so blunt, shoots from the hip. It draws you to him. I used to like him when he had that Apprentice show. And I thought it was cool, you know, Donald Trump, cool, man.
Came in WrestleMania,
but now,
I think.
Like, you can't be that way, like, when you had your TV show and think that you're going to run a country that way. Honestly, a lot of countries laugh at us, and it's mainly because of that, because he's our voice, right? And deep down, I don't know what his full policies were, what he really did. He might have done a good job, but it's like, you covered that up with some of the stupid shit that you said, right? Unfortunately, and that's his tactic. I'm gonna say stuff, and that people are gonna love me for it. Unfortunately, I think he said too much that rubbed even some of his own supporters 4 years ago the wrong way. Like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. And like I said, the biggest thing that I've seen is, I'm not blaming him for this whole like racism, systemic racism issue going on, and the Black Lives Matter movement and all this shit. That's not really his fault, man. That's been going around for a very long time. But I don't think he helped deviate that situation any, right? He almost kind of added fuel to that fire in certain ways. Yeah. And to me, it's like, even when Obama was president, we talked about it. I had issues with like African Americans saying, hell yeah, I just voted for him. I don't know anything about him. I don't know what he represents, but I just voted for him. Well, that's wrong too, right? Because that's being racist, really. You wanted him over the white guy. The white guy could have probably been the best president we ever had. Mm-hmm. And just because he was black, you voted for him, right? But even then, it was like black people thought they were on this high because they had a black president, but Obama never added fuel to that fire. Like, yeah, I did this for the black people. It was like, you never really heard that. You compare the two, Obama kicks Trump's ass when it comes to speaking professionally, and he gave some damn good speeches. You know what I mean? And he, like, he was a good speaker. Shit. And he made you believe. At least me, I was like, shit, man, this movie's good as hell. Like, eating my popcorn.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean that's the biggest thing, man. But like, I just, at the end of the day, I think a president's just the face, the voice of the country. Mm-hmm. They're like puppets, though. Everyone else is calling the shots. Yeah.
If I can add to that just real quick, and I'll let you get back to it. It's because you say that, but I think, like, we've said this before, or we've talked about it, I don't know with who, but I think that's a big reason of why a lot of people like him, because they'll tell you, yeah, but he's not this typical politician. Yeah. He's not like, he doesn't stick to the typical political ways. Like, he voices his opinion, he says whatever he wants. Like, yeah, that's what we want, but it's like, do we really want that? Because we're, like you were saying, we're a joke to everybody, Mm-hmm. Like, you go anywhere else and they laugh at us, like that's y'all's leader, like at some point, I think it hurts more to not have a typical politician in that job, because a typical politician knows the policies. They've been working in the government. They know the system, To just throw somebody in there who has no idea how that works can be more damaging to me than anything.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No, that's 100% the truth. And I mean, Republicans that are voting for him, in my opinion, have been like diehard Republicans. That's the way they were brought up. Like, they're gonna vote Republican. They could have fucking Hulk Hogan running, and they're gonna vote for his ass 100%. Yeah. I say Hulk Hogan, they actually would. I think that motherfucker would win. But They'll vote for anybody. That's just the way they were brought up. Like, they're gonna be one Republican 100%.
And you have Democrats like that too.
Yeah, Democrats
who are like,
too.
No matter what, they're gonna vote Democratic. So
yeah, no, I think you guys make good points, both of you. Honestly, I mean, if you had to, I guess we'll move to you now. Honestly, if you had to kind of, put not necessarily a face to the problem.
I mean, real quick, Matt, going back, not to cut you off, but like, I guess the thing about the U.S., because it offers you so much, you have the right to do pretty much anything you want, right? That's not deemed illegal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can murder.
But you have the right to vote, and you have the right to vote for whoever the hell you want. I think that's awesome. But it's like, on the same token, it's like we're spoiled, though, because we have so many options. Because motherfuckers are never happy, bro. Yeah. It's like I've told you, motherfuckers are never happy. They could win $1 million, and they'll be pissed if they didn't win $2. You know what I mean? Because I've never, now that I think about it, I've never, ever, like, heard people not bitch about any of the presidents we've had.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, like, there hasn't been one good one? Like, you kidding me? Like, and the
Jimmy
few
Carter
good ones are, like,
good.
Get killed, you know? But,
the good ones get killed.
The good ones get JFK.
Yeah, JFK, Abe Lincoln.
Abe
Like,
Lincoln.
damn. Like, you don't want to be good president, you know?
President.
But no, I mean, people are just always going to be unhappy.
Yeah.
Fucking a lot of Democrats hated Trump when he got voted in.
Yeah.
The country can be in a better place, but we're doing all right. You know, no one could have predicted COVID and all this economy stuff. It don't matter who you had. I think we would have been going through the same issues right now.
Yeah.
You know, when Obama took over, they said that the country went to shit. I didn't really see it because when George Bush was in there, people were bitching about him too with the whole the war in Afghanistan, and 9/11 had happened at that time. The barrel of oil was like $15 or something a barrel. Like the economy was crap. They were giving stimulus checks out mid-year because everybody was the recession was happening. Yeah. So it's like, bad shit's happened on everybody's watch.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like, you're the president, so you're gonna get the blame. It's not really you, man. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, what has anyone done when any of these problems have happened to, like, fix anything? Nothing. You know, they're fixing the issues of the previous president. So that's why, to me, they're just a figurehead, man. They're just a name. It's like any corporation, GE, Siemens, head of Forbid. Like, they're just a figurehead. They're the representation of the company in the whole of the company. They're the face. They're the ones giving the proper speeches at every quarter, at the end of the year. But there's a lot of other people that are really, making the magic happen. And this guy's just relaying the info to the press and to the other people. I think that's what the president is, man. So sometimes they get too much crap, and sometimes, sometimes they don't help themselves either. But that's my whole take on him. That's why I don't ever vote. Like, I think my morals and stuff would pull me more to the Republican side, because I think I like George Bush, shit. I'm Republican. I think people because some people that I know that have been Republican forever are just tired of Trump, and they're like, fuck it, man. Like, I'm gonna vote Democrat this year, and then next year I'll be back up on the Republican side, because this dude's fucking a lot of stuff up. Yeah. So whether that's right or wrong, I have no clue. And like I said, I really don't know politics. I couldn't tell you, like, the top 5 plans that they have, or like what they're trying to push, aside from COVID, because that's right now it's happening. But aside from that, I don't know where either one of them really stand. And like I've told you, and we joke about it, but it's true. Like, I've been working for 13 years, so through 3 presidencies, I haven't really felt the effect of it. Either everyone talks about taxes. I guess I don't make enough, because I never feel a fucking difference, dude. Honestly, like,
no, it's
it's not like one went in and like, oh, taxes are gonna be feeling like I'm broke. Like, it's not.
I
don't really feel the pain. You know what I mean? So that's my thing, and maybe that's why I don't really give a shit.
So I think but the importance of what you were coming down to, you don't really feel anything, because, like you said, that's not how our system works. The president is just a figurehead, and we have the Senate and House, and there's always division there too. So a lot of these laws that the presidents want to make don't even get passed. So at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't really matter, because it's up to them anyways. But it's like how we're represented, That's the big thing, I think. And
that's the big thing. That's the biggest thing. But it's crazy, man. Like, shit. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you hear about, like, these potential riots and, all this shit going on if Biden were to win. It's like, God damn, why? Yeah. Like, the shit that we argue about being in the U.S. is the shit that we're doing opposite of, man. Like, wanting to, like, kill people and, like, cause harm to because they voted for some other dude. Like, God damn, like that's the reason why a lot of people leave their country to come over here is, they'll get beheaded if they don't go for the right guy. And, like, we're doing shit like that too. Like, so what's this great country that we live in, And the one I really want to, the ones that I really want to call out, though, because it's comical to me. It's comical to me. Is like, you'll have, like, this young group of, like, because I've seen a lot of them. You see it on social media, and you see it, like, on the news. You hear about friends and stuff, and they're, like, so goddamn, like, you would think they're like they've been politicians their whole life because they know everything. And they like, taxes this. Like, motherfucker, you don't even work. Like, what are you worried about taxes for? Like, you don't pay shit. You know what I mean? You're in school. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Yeah. Like, I know damn well your parents don't pay that much taxes. You live around here. Y'all ain't filthy rich. What are you talking about, you know?
Exactly.
That and just, like, some, like, off-the-wall, like, shit that's, like, completely different tangent. And it's, like... You would think, like, well, you better be a politician when you get older, like, because they're so fucking passionate, like, angry, bro, like,
like,
what the fuck?
Right?
Like,
like we were talking about at the beginning, it's almost like this is what, you know, is what wakes you up in the morning. You know, this is your life, you know.
Your bread and butter.
Exactly. What gives you life and all that. That's how you take it. Like, damn, man.
Honestly, really if the Astros were in the playoffs right now, I'd be watching that over the presidential race.
Oh, definitely. The Rockets were... I was watching on YouTube the other day, Coach Silas, you know, I was watching his press conference instead of watching... Jonathan was watching CNN.
I was watching Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, Sunny in Philadelphia.
Instead of the presidential shit.
No, but going back, I wanted to get your opinion just to kind of... It's hard to talk about just because there's so many different things to talk about, right? I mean, you could actually get in about like you could talk policy, you can talk about the candidates themselves, the, you know, their actual morality, who they are like as individuals, you know, how you see them leading. You could talk about the supporters and what pisses you off about, you know, Democrats and Republican supporters, and you could talk just all there's so many things you could talk about, right? But I mean, just getting your opinion, I guess, in kind of a generality. I'm get as specific as you want, you know. But
I guess
just same question to Mike. You know, what do you kind of see as like the predominant issue here, as far as like what's driving this divisiveness, and then, you know, just your stance on it. Honestly,
I guess
speak.
Yeah, honestly, I guess I have kind of two main issues.
You can only have one, man.
Have one.
We'll have more, but I guess two big ones that really upset me to a certain level.
Just because you could do whatever you want in the U.S. doesn't mean you can do whatever you want in my house.
Yeah, exactly. You respect.
You respect. And it's my turn to talk.
It's my turn to talk.
No, but the first being, I guess, the division. And I know a lot of people, or not a lot, but there are going to be some people who come out and say, what division? You know, no,
math? Like fraction. Yeah. Like, hey, let me talk right now. Sorry. Yeah.
The division. I mean, I think you'd have to be, I don't know, I'm trying to be very careful. That's why it's kind of hard to talk.
It's very polarizing. A lot of people get insulted.
So I'm trying to be very careful with it, but I'm just gonna screw it. I'm just gonna say what I need to say.
The podcast is we said it from the beginning. There's no
freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. There's no ill will here. Obviously, it's the G for Gizman podcast. We're trying to be honest, and if you don't respect our ideals, our policy, our opinions,
my opinion,
the very least you can do is respect the fact that we try to be honest.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was good.
That was a good one. You need to write that down. No, the division. I used to vote. Well, I think I voted like 2 other elections since I've been eligible to vote. And I'll be honest that I used to vote Republican, you know. Well, except last election. But so I guess I'm saying who I voted for, and you have an idea of who I voted for this time.
Independent. You didn't vote for.
Yeah, independent. Yeah, independent. Actually, I voted for Kanye.
Kanye before he
those are the people that need to move the fuck out of the country. If you voted for Kanye, get the fuck out.
Well, I guess it's the same as not voting at all, though, right? I mean,
so
that's
still,
even worse.
Bro.
I do think that's worse.
Honestly, I'd rather people not vote than vote for Kanye.
Yeah.
They probably did but that's right. You're making a joke of it, right? Like, at least just don't vote. Just let it, but don't fucking
make up a lie, man, that your alarm broke.
Yeah,
or something, bro.
Yeah, you missed it.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, I used to vote Republican because, I mean, as a Catholic, it felt like I was doing justice to my religion, or, you know, I was being more true to myself by voting Republican because I'm more conservative and things like that. And to a certain extent, I do still have that mindset. But one of my main issues is that how close-minded people from both parties can be. You know, we talked about those people who are like, no, I'm voting Democrat no matter what, or I'm voting Republican no matter what. I don't, like, that's bothersome to me to think, like, some people just won't open their eyes to other things, you know, because that tells me, like, you're very stubborn. You know, you're not willing to, like, empathize and see what's going on around you.
We gotta call it like it is, too, and, like, I know it's going to piss people off, but if it does, I mean, it's you that I'm calling out. they go, it's kind of almost like not a hate thing, but something that they go against. And I think one of the biggest triggers over the last year has been this Black Lives Matter shit. We all know that they're heavily supported by the Democratic Party. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. Either you're down with Black Lives Matter or you're not. And if you're not, guess what? You're voting Republican 100%.
I'm down with the bitches
and what gets to me is like, that's why Hispanics should have voted independent. Because Black Lives Matter don't give a shit about your ass, and Proud Boys don't give a shit about your ass. Like, we're like in the middle, bro. Like, no, why don't you love me, man? Like, we're like Will Smith in the empty ass living room, bro. Like, just looking around. That's us, bro.
Why does it
But honestly, no, that's what it goes down to, honestly. Like, and it's not just that Black Lives Matter movement, but it's this election. It is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That's what it boils down to.
No, it is, and that's what I was gonna say, because people are gonna say, "Oh, like that's fake news," or "Where are you getting your sources from?" or "That's not true." But that's what I have to ask myself. Like,
social media, same shit y'all getting yours from.
Media.
We see the news, and people are gonna say, "Well, the news isn't the only like outlet." Like,
well, like, how are we supposed to know? Yeah, we don't go there.
No,
but we're not reporters.
I mean, we don't even have to. Like, you hear some things that the president says, and it's like some of these people who are like,
that was from the,
so in love with him, and I say that like so in love with him, like. What do y'all think when he
my
says
thing too
some
is
of
because
these
people will
things,
tell you like, bitch, you've said worse stuff. Well, yeah, I'm not running for fucking president. I'm not even running for management of my company. Like, so I've owned up to that. Like, I'm not gonna run for president.
You
so
made
I
a
can
good
say
point.
whatever.
The CEO of Siemens wouldn't be caught talking like that.
And they shouldn't. They I mean, because you're representing a bigger thing. You're making a shitload of money. You've got the highest title possible. Like there comes a lot of responsibility comes with that, and you have to hold yourself to a higher standard professionally, right? I don't give a shit if he pounds beers every weekend, but in the spotlight during working hours, professionally, he has to hold himself up to a higher standard than everybody else below him, and that's just the way it is. Or it's like, why else give you that, dude? If this guy's acting more professional, he's probably more qualified. Why isn't he there? Like, you're the figurehead, dude. You knew that going in. You have to hold yourself more accountable to that. The same thing with the president, whoever he's going to be. Like, y'all have to be the most professional, and they should know that.
Yeah. So my thing is, like, you hear some of these things he says, and openly, like, he doesn't even hide it.
Trump.
The president. I'm sorry.
Don't ever call him President Trump.
Yeah,
like
don't
that
ever
again, right?
do
Trump.
that again.
Presidente.
No. Anyways, you hear these things he says, and I think this election was the most like votes that there have ever been. I think Joe Biden got the most votes any other candidate has gotten, but I think this is also like the most votes altogether, like ever.
Yeah, this is the most anyone's voted before.
So I had to like sit back and ask myself, like, all right, the Republicans, and I'm gonna go back and forth. I'm not trying to like hate on just the Republicans or anything. Are going to tell you they vote for him. Maybe a lot of it was like economics, like, their finances and taxes and all these other things. But a lot of them vote because of their conservative ways. And it's like, they're going to really push you like, no, that's, and a lot of them are Christians, and that's why they're voting conservative. And they're going to tell you, no, it's because we're steering away from like Christian ways. Maybe. But we've been doing that for a long time. Why are y'all so like adamant about it now? Why did Barack Obama win, last election? Where were y'all? Why didn't, why wasn't there this overflow of conservatives voting? Why? Why? Because what this president stands for. And so many people want to back that up, like finally, it's almost like finally somebody said what a lot of people were thinking. And they're going to come up with different reasons why they're voting and stuff, but we know why. I think that's why he's had so much like tremendous support. Like Bush was conservative too. Not as many people loved him. Why? He was conservative.
A lot of Republicans hated his ass.
Why? Why this president? Some of the things he says, it's like, and I see some of his, rallies, and when he says, if we're voting for Trump as a Christian, if we're voting for him because, he promotes like God and things like that. If we're voting for him for things like that or that reason, why at his rallies when he says something very insulting to somebody else, you hear like a bunch of people cheering. Like if we're being Christians, we should be like, no, why are you saying that? Hey, like calm down, like don't do stuff like that.
Because he feels like he's at a concert. He feels like I'm at a concert, and when they cheer for me, I gotta keep it going. He loves that feeling. You know, he
yeah,
feels
or like the people at his rallies were like, "Fire Fauci, fire!" Like, who says that? You know, like if we're because they're on
like why he's been like working with the White House for like a
forever
long time, right?
With so many other
like
presidents.
Why is it just now? Because why is he a piece of shit now?
Because he kind of went against some of the things Trump, said. That's why. But my thing is like, and the reason I'm pushing like the whole Christian thing is because they're really gonna feed that to you. Like, no, we're Christians. Because so many of them think that because they're on Trump's side, on the Republican side, they're more righteous than the Democrats or the left. Like they think they're more godly in a sense than the other side. So it's like, all right, that's where I have my issue because.
But they're not really Christian though, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. But they're gonna tell you that's why they vote.
Cash,
that's why they vote. Conservative because it aligns with like their values. That's why they vote that way. But it's like, really, is that why? Because at your rallies, why are y'all chanting like stuff like that? Who does that? What good Christian like says fire somebody and everybody else is like chanting and stuff? It's just, that's why I voted the way I did this year, because it's like, I don't feel like as a Christian, I'm not saying like I'm perfect, but I don't feel for the first time or for the second time, I feel like being on that side is like worse kind of than being on the other side. I guess the lesser of two evils, like.
I agree completely with everything you guys are saying. But somebody who would be arguing that too, couldn't they say like, well, okay, so Trump isn't the greatest Christian and a lot of the Republicans aren't acting very Christian, but why would you, like, what is voting Democrat and for Biden doing to help that, right? Because he's just less as Christian and the Democrats are even less as Christian.
Because I think deep down Trump is promoting hate. Exactly. That's the secret message he's sending to everybody.
Ultimately, when we were talking
what people
earlier,
forget, though, is that 2 campaigns ago, Trump was supporting the Democratic Party, right? He was funding Hillary Clinton's campaign. So he was Democrat, 8 years ago? Like, motherfucker, you didn't make a big-ass, change in your lifestyle and you're running a Republican.
That's what it comes down to, right? I mean, because you were talking, and I'll let you finish, because I know you have more to say, but, Trump, it's kind of, like you were saying, it's not so, and I think what Mike was trying to say, too, is like, vote for the parties you want, right? Like we were saying, hey, respect, you got to respect people's decisions to vote for whatever party they want. But this has become a little more personal, right? And I think everybody feels it a little more, like you were trying to allude to a little while ago, you know why. You know why you're voting for him, right? And there's that thing.
Well, there's a few different groups, right? There's some that don't really like him, but they're just hardcore like Republican, right? And they're like, man, like I can't. I'm not gonna vote Democrat. And I guarantee you, there's some Republicans that are like diehard Republicans,
but maybe
they don't support Trump. And they probably didn't fucking vote.
Or they secretly voted for Biden.
I'm definitely not voting for Democrat, but I'm definitely not voting for Trump. So I'm sit this one out. I'm and hopefully pray for the best, and hopefully 2024
which probably
is better.
Isn't too much of the case because, like Mandy said, this is the most voters have ever voted. So chances are people are actually going out to vote. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go back and finish,
that's that with where I stand. And at the end of the day, that just, like you were saying, it's a personal choice, and that comes down to you. I'm not saying because I voted Republican before that, I was better than the Democrats at that time, or vice versa. It's just, it's what you teach in your house,
My thing is like...
Because... Just because I voted a certain way this year doesn't mean like I'm for certain things.
What people say about the country is like, that's the beauty of it, right? That you have... the ability to make your own decisions, and you have the ability, guess what, to fucking change your mind, right? And to me, it's like, let's get the best president in there. I don't give a fuck what party he's from, Republican, Democrat.
That's my thing, like I do to a certain extent, but I honestly try to go in and see it as like the person themselves. I don't try to see it like Republican or Democrat, but there's people who are brought up like they're gonna be Republican no matter what, and so that's my second issue. Like, I just wish people were more open-minded, like they wouldn't open-minded to their party or to the lack of party, like just think outside the box sometimes. And that goes with everything. And going back to Trump, I just, like we were talking about social media, a lot of these people, and it unfortunately, and there's people on the Democrats, like no matter what Obama says or no matter what Joe Biden says or certain people LeBron James says, they're going to take it and run with it too. But right now that we're talking about Trump and stuff, like there's people like he'll tweet something and it's like all his supporters, like I feel like saying like like think for yourselves, man. Like they'll just take that and like they'll amplify it, like they'll run with it, like they believe anything he says and they'll follow him like to the end of the earth. Like there's actually been like interviews where they're like, is there anything he can say or do that's going to make you turn against him? And they're like, no, you know. And that's my second issue, you know, that there's these people who are going to follow him, not just him, but anybody to that degree. It's kind of scary when you think about it. You know, to me, that's like how dictators are made and things like that. Like
authoritarian government, like everybody's been saying. Which
is funny because they were talking about like the Latino vote, like how they were surprised that a lot of Latinos voted for Trump.
Dumbasses.
But they were just saying like how, and it was some broadcaster, some anchor or something. He was just saying like that's a lesson to Americans that we've got to start looking at Latinos differently, not grouping them all the same. He's like, because the Hispanics or the Latinos in Arizona are going to vote differently than the Latinos in Florida, which is what happened, or which is what is happening, you know. And I saw this other lady and she was like, the reason a lot of Latinos in like Florida, which is made up of a lot of Cubans, people from Venezuela, Colombia, you know, like all these other South Central American, Latin America, voted for him was because they're kind of like traumatized from what's going on in their home countries. Like they don't want a repeat of that.
But I mean, I guess though, like what? Yeah, I believe
like
that.
Like socialism
they're,
to like the extreme.
But like what makes them go for Trump though?
But that's my thing, my issue of being open-minded and doing your research, where that comes in. Supposedly Trump, he's smart.
Because this motherfucker hates Mexicans. And I'm sorry, people from Venezuela and all that bullshit. He thinks like y'all fucking Mexican.
He thinks
you know what I mean? Mexican. He thinks y'all are all Mexican.
No, so I mean, but he's smart because he went down there and he did his campaign and he spoke of socialism. And what did that do? That automatically like instilled fear in all these like Cubans, people from Venezuela. They all took that and they're scared because of what happened in their home countries, that they don't even want to get close to anything like that happening over, you know, here
don't
again.
Worry, we'll protect y'all.
Yeah.
Well, also too, just because one of Trump's biggest competitors these last 4-8 years has been Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And the criticism he's relieved from a lot of super right conservative Republicans is that his policies and his like theories mimic socialism. Yeah. Like Maddie said, that it was seen in their country, that it seems like he has hints of that, or to their opinion, very strong hints of socialism in his.
And maybe because we didn't live over there.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. Like, you go to Venezuela, apparently it's terrible. I mean, you look at it's fucking, you would not want to be there, right?
And I get it.
Should I cancel my flight?
Ooh, yeah, I thought we were going to Aruba.
I thought we were going for Thanksgiving, bro.
Aruba? That's Venezuela, right? What's that island on top of Venezuela?
Like, whoever was listening right now heard you say that, and they're like, that's it. Like, they closed it. Like, these don't know anything.
Got 20 more Trump supporters after this podcast.
No, but Honolulu?
Yeah, so Honolulu's in Venezuela.
They're like, oh my God.
But that's why. Yeah. So they met, like Mandy said, they go to the complete opposite.
He instilled fear in them, and that's why they like.
But like you said, Trump's smart.
He's very smart, and I'm not saying. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've never been in their circumstance. I mean, would I have
a Big Mac with them? More than likely.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Drink some whiskey, have a Big Mac with them, play some golf.
Oh yeah,
probably.
Would I drink it up with him? Would I grab some of that?
Once I started feeling good enough, I call him an idiot.
Yeah,
be like, hey, motherfucker, just don't talk, bro. Just don't talk and don't dance. Don't do this. I saw this post. It looked like they said it looks like he's jacking off ghosts.
Yeah, and he's like.
No, but
like, motherfucker, don't talk, don't dance, don't say nothing.
Don't say.
Don't let Melania talk. Don't let Melania talk.
Ever. No.
Every time you gotta give us feed, we're gonna say you're sick.
Yeah. Right? Just you have laryngitis.
Well, the only thing though is like, how old is Biden? Like 106?
He's 78, or he's gonna turn 78, something like that.
I think honestly, I think Kamala's gonna be the president before
that's what people are saying. That's the theory, that if Biden gets elected within a year or two, he's gonna have to step down, and then Kamala Harris is gonna Kamala Harris, right? She's gonna have to take over. But you were going back because I think you were trying to make a point about the Latino community, Venezolanos.
Yeah, because he was, he instilled that fear in them, and they're so like they don't want to be like that, so they're like whatever he says, they're gonna go with.
But I wonder how they would.
That Trump has a huge Latino.
Yeah, that's why, because a lot of people.
But I wonder how they would have felt if he would have came back and said like, people from Venezuela, Colombia, and all that are like nothing but like rapists and drug dealers.
To be honest, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. No. I also feel like that's a little extra. I'm not saying that this is the main reason they do it, but a little extra.
Well, they don't like Mexicans.
That he said about Mexicans.
Because I feel like a lot of them are trying to make the statement like, well, he said that about y'all Mexicans. We're not Mexican.
We're higher class. We're scared of shit, but
we're like Cuban. We're different. We're not that like.
No, all y'all known for is like smuggling
cigars
back and forth.
But I mean, and that's not everybody, right? I'm not trying to speak about
honestly,
that way,
it's like I have friends.
So
Juan, shout out to my friend Juan.
He
was like, oh, we fucking hate Mexico, blah blah blah, this and that. Like, bitch, you're in the U.S. They think you're Mexican. Motherfucker, they don't know what El Salvador's at. They think that's a state in like Mexico, bro.
Because it is a real, like Mandy said, it's a real sentiment. You can't prove
he said he loves it. He said, even my friend Juan, shout out Juan. He became a Mexican citizen, so he's like a Mexican citizen.
He said he loved it over there.
He loves it. Yeah. He just gives me a hard time, but he was honest, and he's like, dude, growing up, like we hate Mexico. Yeah.
And
I get it. If I was like from Colombia or something, and they're like, "Oh, you Mexican," I'd be like, "God dang, like not all of us are Mexican." Exactly. I get it too in that sense. Like
it's
annoying.
They're like,
and Mexico, honestly, I mean, given its Mexico ain't no picnic to live in either. They got their own problems and all that too.
But name 3 good Colombian foods.
Yeah, what?
Colombian I don't know foods. Anybody do arepas, I think.
Colombia? They don't have. Are you saying they don't?
No, I'm saying like we kick their ass in food
and soccer.
Well, they know their food.
Backing off. Yeah, sometimes they whoop our ass. Yeah, their food. I don't really know any popular Colombian food. What is it? Arepas? Or is that Venezuela?
No, I think they have some too.
The only reason is Venezuela, no?
I heard they have this specialty dish that they get cactus with all the thorns, and then they put hot sauce on it.
We stuff it with cocaine.
God.
They call it the Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, the Pablo Escobar, right? And you just like you Scarface, so you just pour a bunch of coke on you and just like lay and sniff as much as you can. Snort.
Hey, I have stereotypes about Mexicans.
Yeah, it's all in fun, guys.
At least their shit's like badass.
Yeah.
Like ours is like bullshit, bro.
Like we got caught smuggling tortillas and shit.
I got caught trying to bring fruits over here, motherfucker.
Y'all got semillas. Y'all got arrested for bringing semillas from the pumpkin seeds.
Not even sunflower seeds. Fucking pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds.
No,
but Kroger and get some.
No, but ultimately, just to finish that is just. They fear. My thing is like they fear these things, and rightfully so, But to me, it's just like be careful with that because I think it's just as dangerous, and you're going down a very dangerous road when you love your leader that much and support him as much as they support Trump.
Well, yeah.
To me, that's how we start moving on to like a dictatorship. It's like, almost.
Damn, man, y'all got choices,
and like
you
just
said,
and vice
careful.
versa too. Those who hate Trump so much that, and it's unfortunate. I mean, just to kind of talk a little bit, I really want to hear you guys. Because like Michael's saying, I agree with them completely. I'm not a politics guy. It's something that doesn't interest me. It pisses me off a lot of the times when I try to talk it. One, because I don't really know what I'm talking about, and when I don't know something, that kind of annoys me. And then two, just I think I agree with people. There's this narrative going around that politicians specifically have always been crooked. It's always been corrupt. I mean, you see all the movies.
But see, that's my thing. I'm sorry, I'm just feeding into things, but I'll let you finish. But it's like a lot of politicians. Politics is politics. Like politicians. Like a lot of people are like, oh, Trump, he's not a politician. That's why I like him. Well, guess what? He's the president. So yes, he is a politician, Now, and it's just like, let's be
unqualified one, maybe.
Yeah, let's just be sensible and like reasonable and like no politician, no president is going to go in here and perform miracles. There's some people who believe I kind of have been hearing about this like conspiracy theory about this whole sex trafficking thing and like Trump's I feel like I want to laugh, but I mean it's not funny. I'm not at all saying that topic is funny. I'm just saying it's humorous in the sense that it's kind of like I picture him like they think like he's Batman or something, you know, like he's out like in the night, like doing all these, making all these like secret moves. It's like, come on, man, like no politician is doing that. Like nobody cares about us that much to like be doing these things, you know, like it's kind of like open your eyes a bit.
Exactly. And I think you said it cool right now. I mean, you mentioned it that, you know, it's frustrating, it's annoying, and it's cause for self-reflection because you want to make sure you're not doing it yourself, right? But you said it, you know, it's frustrating to see how closed-minded people are, right? And it's unfortunate that, obviously, like we said, social media has given us this platform where everybody has an opinion, everybody's judging somebody at this point, which is probably why it's at an all-time high, right? Yeah. And you can't help but judge. Judging is just something that we do naturally, right? I mean, you can't condemn a person, but everybody judges. You see someone do something, you're going to judge that action, right? You think it's right, you think it's wrong, you're going to give your opinion on it. And unfortunately, social media has blown that up to a degree we've never seen before. Mm-hmm. And you were saying, you know, be open-minded. And I think a lot of people actually think they are being open-minded because the huge narrative that I'm seeing, because like I said before, I'm with Michael, I don't care about politics too much. It kind of bores me. It upsets me when we try to get into it. I talk to family members about it, but just like bullshitting when we're drinking just to get a rise maybe out of some people or just to see what they actually think. Because like I said, I don't know. That's why I'm trying to listen to you guys a lot because I honestly don't know. But from what I've been seeing, obviously, on social media and whatever, there's this narrative that's being pushed. Like Mandy was saying, you could give specific examples or policies, sex trafficking, you know, the Pizzagate, all these things.
And these are real issues. I'm not, exactly, when I'm trying to go back to my comment earlier, I don't want people to think, oh, you thought that was funny. No, not at all am I saying that these issues, it's a real thing. I'm not saying sex trafficking doesn't happen. It's probably one of the biggest issues going on right now in the world, but I just said it was not that's humorous. It's just a little humorous to think like I picture like you know Batman like Trump puts on a cape at night and is like this superhero or, like know,
and then or even that or like his actual policy because I know he's given some amount of money to aid against sex trafficking and people love that. But then you got to ask yourself like ultimately what is that doing? You know, you throw a check that way. What the hell does that mean? You know, like okay, you did your
and this is coming from the guy who was acquaintances with. What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein. You know, like look what he did. You know, that's who he was acquainted.
And I guess like, that's the point I'm trying to make, right? People think we were saying be open-minded, right? And I think that the problem is that a lot of people at the current moment think they're being open-minded when they're really not, and they think they're being open-minded because there's this huge narrative going on that's being pushed. Like you were saying, we said I don't know how many times we said it already tonight. Conspiracy theories. There's so many conspiracy theories. There's so many opinions. He wants to claim he dubbed fake news, but hey, maybe he did because I've heard so much people say fake news this past 4 years. Fake news, right? News that isn't accurately correct. That's all being pushed every which way by Democrats, by Republicans, by liberals, by just fucking idiots on social media, jokesters, everybody. That you see something that used to be accepted more or less by most people. Like, hey, that's just reality. That's the way it is. And it is, you probably. But now most people who are, like Mandy said, thinking they're being like outside the box. Oh, that's not true. You know? And that's how you get
to a certain extent, like you were saying, they think they're thinking out the box. Like you're thinking simple-minded.
Exactly,
you know?
You're thinking
like
simple-minded because you don't believe what I believe anymore. It's almost like it comes down ultimately to like a philosophical level. Because like I said, I don't want to I can't just because I don't know how to get into specifics like policy. But ultimately, this philosophical thing it's coming down to is we've lost grip of what's real. Yeah. We're losing touch with truth and reality. And this is what happens when that happens. You know, when you do lose that grasp on reality and truth, you have everybody claiming that they're right. You have nobody able really to agree on anything. And all these conspiracy theories come out. And then what happens is you have a guy like Trump who they call him, you know, they say he's like a populist. A populist being that a lot of common people identify with him, right? Some people who are running, you know, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a populist, meaning I'm for the common man, dude.
They see themselves in Trump.
They identify with him and they think, like Maddie was saying, like he's fucking Batman, like a savior. And I'm ripping Trump because I'll be honest, like I'm trying to stay
politically correct.
And I always like, you know, I personally don't like the guy. I don't empathize with him. To me, he's like Michael was saying, he's not a good leader, man. Yeah. Like I agree with Michael. Presidents are figureheads, but where their importance comes is that you have to be a good leader. You know, can you bring people together? Can you lead? Can you fight? Be the face of a country amidst all these problems? For me personally, no, not at all. You know, like you were saying, he's a politician. Now, you are a politician, an unqualified politician. You know, I don't give a damn about Biden either. I didn't even know I barely knew right now. Like Kamala Harris is his vice president. I don't think he's a great guy, but I think we're all coming to a point where, like Mandy was saying, like, it's not so much, or at least I think that's what you're trying to allude to a little. It's not so much about policy. And this is where another problem comes in for people who are voting for Trump and Republicans. And we're going for Trump because Trump is the villain right now. He's being attacked by everybody. Rightfully so, unrightfully so, whatever. He's the antagonist of this political story, right? The Republicans are going to make it seem like, hey, he's the anti-hero. He's a true hero. Like, yeah, everybody hates him, but ultimately he's going to, you know, almost like a Christ-like figure that, hey, everybody hated Christ, but he was actually right, you know, like the Jews.
Which I'm going to, like,
and it's like,
put a tab on that and go back to what you just said in a little bit.
Okay, but no, you look at who Trump is, you look at all his, like Michael said it earlier, motherfucker, 8 years ago, you were voting for this. You mean to tell me you had such a change of heart and epiphany that you're a completely different person, a new person, and you're all in about America, and you want to save no, come on, man, let's be real. You're crazy to think that, right? But there are some people, like who I'm saying, are, hey, okay, yeah, he's not a great leader, whatever, but you can't just condemn the whole country just to get him out of there and side with the devil, right? The devil you know is better than the devil you know kind of argument, right? And I'm all over the place too, and that's why I was trying to stay quiet, because I don't have a clear grasp on this either. All of it is just mainly ranting and just opinion. But what upsets me a little, and what it frustrates me, is people just, because that's what I know, just it's bullshit, trash talk. I'm not here to talk policy. I can't talk policy. But people who say, we love him because he's not your typical politician. He's blunt. He just says it how it is. Like, no, he's not blunt. He's dumb. You know, if he could speak eloquently, he would. And I said it on like the first episode. There's a difference between eloquence and intelligence, right? You don't necessarily have to be a great speaker to mean you're smart, or vice versa. Just because you talk like shit doesn't mean you're not smart, right? They don't necessarily correlate. Sometimes they do. Usually, if you're a really smart guy, you're probably going to know how to speak well, but not necessarily, not all the time, right? Albert Einstein was a shit public speaker, probably, you know? But it's like, no, he's not blunt. You know, or maybe he is, but it's not so much that he's blunt, it's that he's dumb. Because when you say he's blunt, and it's usually seen in a positive light, it's like, hey, I'm cutting through all this political BS. I'm just going to say it. That's fucked up. That's it. You know? It's like, no, that's not what he's doing, though. You know, he's not speaking professionally. He's not really explaining his policy well. I've never actually heard him go into a policy, personally. And like you said, I don't really listen to news. I just go based on what I'm hearing when they speak. I don't think Biden's that great of a speaker. Motherfucker has dementia or something, right? Like, that's what we were saying. If he gets elected 1-2 years before, if they don't kill his ass, you know, he'll probably have to step down for medical reasons or something, right? And it's like, no, he's not blunt though. He's rude, and he's not very intelligent, so you can't explain too many policies so much, right? And you know, he's not your typical politician. He's like, no, he's not, because he's not a politician. He's not qualified. He has no real qualifications to say this. He says things you like. And I guess, great, you want to vote for him, cool, that's your
And people
option.
could say, like, oh, that's a good thing. And maybe when it comes to the sense of, like, you don't know too much about politics,
that's what I was gonna say.
You're trying to do good for the American people, but you need politics when you're dealing. You need to know about foreign affairs. When you're working with other countries who take that seriously,
being blunt,
like, you got to know.
Like you said, sometimes being blunt's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. And, okay, let's just say, for argument's sake, he is a smart guy, and he's just blunt. Okay, cool, you're just being blunt. You're talking about very intricate policies here. You're talking about very intricate political systems. You're talking about so many damn people's lives and government and policies, foreign affairs. How the hell can you be blunt with that? You know, that's almost impossible to be blunt. If you're being blunt, it just shows me that you really don't have a full understanding of what you're talking about. Because it's easy for me to say, hey, like, for example, Venezuela. Hey, Venezuela, what's going on over there? It's terrible. They have a dictator over there. Dictators are no good. We need to help them out. Hey, like, okay, like, hey, great, like, that's a great sentiment to have, and I guess in theory it's a great idea, but the hell does it has no real weight to it, you know? And I don't want to make this a shit show on Trump and whatnot, but that's just one of the things that upsets me, and it leads to one more thing, and then I'm gonna drop it off to you guys, that you know, a lot of supporters, and let's be honest, like we were saying, you know why you're voting for him. Like, now you're voting, now you're coming out after Obama was president, now you're trying to make America great again, like, right after. What a coincidence, right? You know, with the country's been in worse shape before, like, you know, now you're coming out. Like Jonathan said, he was straight. Jonathan's blunt. He's straight. It's a race issue, man. You know, don't tell me it's not about race. At least for a good amount of people, of Trump supporters and Biden supporters, it's about race, you know. Whether you're black and you're hating on whites because they've oppressed your people, or you just, you know, feel like shit, you've had enough of their shit, I'm not voting for them, that's a race issue. Whether you're white and you're tired of, you know, you're racist and you just don't like black people, or you're tired of black people taking advantage of the system, whatever, that's a race issue, you know. Don't tell me a lot of those Trump supporters. At the end of the day,
that's what it boils down to.
Exactly, that's exactly what it's a big part of it. You know, I'm not saying everybody who's a Trump supporter.
I would like to know, like, who's never voted before but voted this year.
Exactly, right. And what's dangerous, like Mandy was saying, it's really dangerous right now, is that you have a guy like Trump who isn't a populist. He's not for the common man. He never has been. He's Republican, for God's sakes. They take care of their...
I'm a populist with them. Like, I've been a billionaire.
Yeah, you know, my posse, I'm a billionaire, you know? It's like, no, he's not. He wouldn't hang out with you, you know? Like Andrew Jackson, the 5th president, that was a fucking populist because there was only like 13
George
states.
Washington, you probably shared a tent with them.
Yeah, bitch, yeah, like exactly. Like there was... America was the size of Sienna Plantation back then, you know, so they saw everybody. Theo Chava was a populist because that motherfucker was honking at everybody. I didn't mean to call you mother effer, Theo. Sorry, I was just excited. Dumbass, right? Probably. But there's one more big issue, kind of, is that a lot of Trump supporters, and we got to be honest, like we were saying, it's a race issue. And what Trump does by not being able to speak well, by not being intelligent, he's a populist with those certain demographic of people, that certain amount of people who... Like I said, I got to be careful a little with what I'm trying to say here. People empathize with Trump, whether you're white, whether you're black or something. People like Trump because he makes them feel better about themselves. Their intelligence
like
is
me.
a quantifiable
thing. They identify,
thing.
And if he can be president, then like I can be
exactly.
president.
Well, my thing,
he's not that smart. He doesn't sound smart, and I don't sound smart, right? I can't explain things very well. He can't explain things very well, but he is really smart, just like I'm really smart. That's why I'm voting for him.
It's an ego boost too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He says things the way they are. So I know he doesn't. He just says whatever the F comes to his mind, whatever he thinks is going to get him riled. Like Michael said, like a fucking rock star. He's on the crowd. Like, he knows who his supporters are. Yeah. He's not stupid. Yeah. They run so many damn numbers his political campaign. They know who supports him, right? And like Michael says, he knows... I don't think I wouldn't go see him in concert, but he's like a fucking rock star. He knows how to get a rise out of people. He knows what's going to get a rise out of his competition, and he knows what it's going to get him. He gets a high off of it, like Mike said.
He knows what to say. He knows what to say to get him to chant.
He loves that stuff, you know. And that's the last I'm gonna say about it. That's my little quiff. I know I was all over the place and probably made myself sound like a dumbass. And people are probably going to be upset. Like I said, hey man, this isn't for me. It's not a Republican Democrat thing. If you're pissed off at me for that, okay, maybe. But for me, it's just I don't like Trump. You know,
my thing is I
don't agree with. To me, I don't like him. I don't like him.
Yeah, my thing
is
just
but
because no matter what, and that's the thing. You know, I don't expect, and I'm not trying to change anybody's opinions on Trump. Like Matthew was saying, you know, we're all set in our ways, and we all believe we're thinking outside the box. You hear me talk against Trump and you think, oh, Mandy doesn't have it figured out. You know, she doesn't understand how it really works. Not us Democrat, but other people on the other side, they don't have it figured out. You know, they're not being open-minded. We just all think we're not being open-minded, you know, but my thing, I guess the way I would finish it. So anyways, I'm not trying to, you know, make anybody not a Trump supporter or anything like that. I'm just, you know, we're giving our opinions and
that's what and like you said real quick, that's kind of the key right there. A Trump supporter. I am not a Trump supporter. Donald Trump, I don't like the guy, you know. Now if you want to argue, hey, like we were saying, I don't like the guy. I'm not going to go into reasons why I don't. It's just bottom line. I don't like him.
Even more.
Huh?
I hate his sons even more.
Yeah, and I don't hate the guy, right? People are going to say, oh, you're talking about Christian ideals. I don't hate him, obviously. I mean, I don't fucking...
hate him.
I
hate the sons. I don't hate
Trump.
He's
not someone I would want to hang out with. Let's just say
drink a beer with them.
You know,
maybe I would hang out with him.
If he wasn't president,
if you weren't president, motherfucker, I probably, you know...
No, it's...
He didn't say the dumb shit you say. And it is, and real quick, I have last couple minutes, real quick, just let me get off this rant, because then I have to shut up. I want to talk to you. If you hadn't said all that dumb shit like you've been saying, people are gonna get pissed off at me, right? Like,
what dumb shit? He said the truth. Shit?
Yeah, exactly. And like, what? It's an issue when he says something, and then you have all of social media trying to decipher what he's saying and defending what he's saying by finding deeper meaning in what he's saying. It's like, no, you should have understood, he just said it. You should be able to understand from it. But whenever you have to go
smart like that, he's throwing hidden messages.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it shouldn't be like that,
Metaphors.
That's kind of how like, you're just rooted in your ways, like Mandy was saying. Like, if he says something, no, but
like
what he really meant, I know
like,
if he really meant that,
explain your joke, it's not that funny.
Exactly.
If
you're trying to say a joke and you have to explain it, it's not that funny.
People are like, no, it really was that a joke?
And last thing I will end it on, just to make myself sound somewhat smart, just so people, who hate me now after my little rant.
They already turned this bitch off.
I know.
Yeah, exactly, right?
They're fucking
they broke their laptops already,
this
right?
Fucking
I don't even know what
Democratic
I am. A Republican
podcast.
I don't know who I am.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
They're like this Democratic fucking podcast.
Yeah, fucking podcast.
They broke their
YouTube's
laptops,
they
broke their
iPads,
and like.
This is when we're happy. We don't have that many.
Don't worry. Once Biden wins, fucking free iPads for everyone.
No, but it goes back, and this, I guess, I'll try to make it even keel again for both sides. I was reading this book, and I posted it on Instagram, and I mainly did it just to show off, like I always do, just to kind of make it seem like I'm smart,
No.
like I read,
you're smart.
or
you read.
fucking read.
You did like Trump, another knock on him with the Bible upside down.
Yeah, exactly. I have a book, and I'm like, see, I read, I'm smart, No, but it was this J.S. Mill quote, this English philosopher, political theorist, economist, all this bullshit. I'm like,
if it was Goosebumps, I would fucking take it serious right now, bro.
It wasn't even had anything really, well, I mean, it had to do with politics a little, but it's this book, Subjection of Woman, whatever. And he's talking about equality of women. But there's this first paragraph.
Bro, if I vote for you shut up.
Yeah, if I vote for you shut up. But no, he in his like opening, it's an essay, right? He's talking, he says, he goes, whenever somebody has an opinion that's based on feelings, he goes, any sort of reason or logic you try to argue with it isn't going to weaken that opinion. It's only going to make it stronger. And his argument is that because when it's in an opinion based on, if it were like based on reason and logic, the reason why they believe something, he goes, the refutation, like meaning the contrary to that argument, would shake it a little, right? Just because if it's reason, reason versus reason, you're like, oh, you do, that makes sense, blah, blah, blah. So but when it's based on feelings, it makes that opinion stronger, because when logic makes that opinion that's based on feelings look stupid, they feel stupid, and it's like they believe there's like some deeper meaning to their feeling. Right now it's like, oh, that doesn't make sense, what he's right, but I'm right because what I believe
wants to throw in the towel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. And it's almost like, it has some deeper meaning, no, it transcends that argument. It's bigger than that argument. So no, I'm even more, I even believe it more now, because you can't prove it. It's based on almost faith, right? Faith is a good thing when it's based on good things, right? Not faith in everything is good, right? But, so yeah, that's how it ended. So I guess that's just my little advice, because I was going to ask you guys. So we obviously identified there's obviously a lot of problems being thrown around. What's the solution, really? Mandy said, be open-minded. I guess the only solution now, I would say, was just kind of what I was trying to paraphrase a little from that J.S. Mill guy, who I don't even like his shit. I just posted that because I liked it, right? I didn't even read the whole damn.
You were trying to sound smart.
Trying to sound smart, exactly, right? No, but I'm saying ultimately, like, his ideals. I'm not saying this
because you said a lot of good stuff.
I'm not saying like I agree with everything this J.S. Mill guy said.
No,
right?
but that makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And I guess I would just throw that out for both parties. Like whenever you're trying, like Mandy said, when you're doing something, when you said, just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I mean, my thing is though, like, just kind of before I kind of close at least the politics topic out, right? Because I don't think we even plan to talk about politics all night. Mm-hmm. You just have to because it's such a big
it's election
thing.
Week. But speaking of, has nobody's won or nothing?
I don't
care.
I don't care. But real quick, I'll pose the question. I mean, say whatever you're going to say. Oh, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for letting me talk.
So we identified there's obviously issues with the nation, right? Democrats versus Republicans, races versus non-races, racism, sex trafficking, if you want to throw that out there, right? But there's obviously like a bigger problem at large with the country. Mm-hmm. Not for us, right? I mean, like Michael was saying, for us, like Mike said, I really feel good until it hits home, right? Then we're going to follow, then we'll get all passionate, right? When it hits home, like Bob always says. But to you, I guess I'll pose a question to both of you. What's going to happen? I guess, what do you think? Where do you see this going? And what do you think the best possible outcome would be, in your opinion?
I mean, shit, man, I don't know. Like, it's a question for the president.
Yeah,
I'm just honestly, man. Like me personally, like I said, I'm kind of worried about my day-to-day, like my family and stuff like that. Like I said, I've been working 13 years. I've been through 3 presidencies. I haven't really seen a change with either one to my day-to-day, right? Obviously, there's been problems in the world, but just because you're president, a great one, doesn't mean that problems aren't going to come up. We could have had Abe Lincoln or whoever was a great president or considered a great president this year, reincarnated and been president this year, and coronavirus hits, it's gonna send the country into shit, right? It doesn't really matter who you have at the helm, but I think going forward, man, like the hardest, it's the number one job in my opinion, even over COVID and all that. But it's the hardest one, and it's to bring the country back together. And it's like, all right, man, let's cut the bullshit. Not to fix, because racism's always going to be a thing till we die, till our kids die, their kids die. It's an idea. It's always going to be a thing. Dude, we're different, bro. Yeah. We're all different. We're a different color for a reason. Not that racism is the reason, but it's just always going to be an issue, bro.
It's human always going to be an issue. You're different,
just, you're different, and there's just always going to be racism. It's always going to exist. I don't care who tells me what. I'm not going to buy it. It's always going to be around.
You could punish it.
Could it get better?
Yeah,
it can, but it's still you can throw a punishment out there, and people are going to be getting punished because it's still going to be around.
Or they won't do it, but they'll still believe it in
their heads. They'll still do it, bro. Murder and rape and all this stuff is punishable to the worst degree, and people still do it every day.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can put in place. Hangings and beheadings and all that existed one time. And why were they doing it? And people were still fucking up. And there was still public executions and all that.
The last one I know was William Wallace on Braveheart.
Yeah, that was the realest one.
That was the realest one.
But no, seriously, those beheadings and stuff, people knew, if I fuck up, I'm going to get my head chopped off. But I'm going to still fuck up.
It's like,
I guess my thing,
this is if I can, right? You're not going to get your hands sawed off. If I can,
insert something there, but people are gonna be like, God dang, man, everybody hates it today.
I agree with that because she cut me off.
No, but I guess people can't be so naive to these things. We've talked about this before, and like I said, I can already hear you going to say like, God, you're just pissing everybody off
tonight.
But like a lot of people, like women will say like, oh, like stop telling us like we can't dress the way we want, like if they want to dress a little sexy, more revealing or things like that. Don't teach us to dress.
Oh, here we go.
Don't teach us to dress.
And we think.
Not me, babe.
Not me, babe.
Like, don't teach us. Don't teach girls to dress a certain way. Teach boys not to like sexualize us like that. And so their thing is like, which is true, which is very true. But it's like, don't teach us to be scared to walk down a dark alley. Teach men to like respect us, and which is true. But we can't be so naive to like, we can teach these things all day long. Be smart, you've got to be smart. These things exist. We teach
at least smart to the situation.
Right, exactly. We can't be so naive. And I'm not saying
to a bar where there's nothing but guys. I might not want to wear this miniskirt. That bitch.
And it's sad that we have to say in a perfect world, we wouldn't have to. But like
dark alley and
like Michael was saying,
with my wife, I'm probably not going to go to the strip club tonight.
Yeah. And I wish that's how it was. No way am I saying that, oh no, men are men, boys are going to be boys. No, I wish it was that way, but we can't be naive either. These things exist. We teach,
and it's always never going to go away.
murder is bad, but guess what? There's still serial killers. There's still people out there,
and sometimes you can prepare for it. And be the safest, most cautious person in the world, and you might still get murdered one day. But at least you try to, and that's all you can really do is try, right? Because, like, to your point, and I think we're both saying the same thing, 100%. Racism, rapist, murder, that shit's going to go on forever and ever and ever. That's the almost one thing that's 100% always going to be around. Crime's always going to be around. Just because,
like, no matter how much we push for it, no matter how we try to instill that
somebody jumps me and steals my money, just because I don't think it's right, though,
doesn't mean it's just the way of the world, and it's unfortunate. But it's like we've always said, if you believe in God and stuff,
no matter how much,
it's easy to be bad. It's easy to fuck up and it's easy to do the wrong thing. It's temptation, and it's fun.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, it's hard to be good and stay in that path where like you chase perfection in every sense of the word, whether it's, you know, at work, at home, you know, being a father, being a son, being a brother, it's being a husband. It's very difficult to do everything the right way. It's easy to go fuck up. I can go fuck up right now, and I don't even know I could leave and go fuck up.
Dad told me,
you know, it's
that what Lethal Ben told him once, that it's easier to be good.
Yeah,
and we were like, no, it's not. And I think what he meant was like, it's like you said, it's easier to go fuck up. Obviously, like to be tempted, it's easy to give in.
It's easy to be good.
It's easier in the sense that it's easy to mess up, but the consequences are dire, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to deal with those. Whereas if you're good and you get through it, you really don't got much to worry about. You know,
I think Grandpa, you know, was looking at. I think he was looking at it like.
You don't have to worry
taking a step back and looking at it. It's easy to be good because you're not fucking stressing yourself out. This is the way you should be. And guess what? If you're good to your wife, she's gonna be good to you. If you're a good father, they're gonna be good to you. If you're good at work, they're gonna be good to you.
When you're good, you don't have these
at the
problems,
end of the day,
you know,
it is easy. And I think what he meant is life's easy. If you're good, life is easy.
There's no consequence.
Because you're gonna
not
get
to
that.
say that hard times won't come, obviously, but more just like
as long as you keep your head down and stay focused and do the right thing. One day, might not when you want it to be, but you will get rewarded for it some way, somehow.
Preach.
And what he meant is like, it's easy to be bad, maybe physically, mentally, but it's just and which we all know, and we still fuck
consequences
up.
We all
know. People drive, even something simple as drinking and driving, and your life is screwed. For a while, at least, you're gonna suffer a hardship, a block in the road, a big block in the road, right? You know, you do something stupid. You know, God forbid you drive home and kill somebody. You know, your life's over. You know, you're probably gonna want it to be, but you know how we tie that back into politics. At the end of the day, what we're getting to is racism's always gonna exist. You know, it's like that Narcos movie, the one with Chapo. You know that I saw, and people are like, "Oh, it's a Netflix show." You know, but it's based on the truth. It's facts that they put together. Where we have people in the DEA that are sitting in Mexico City, and their job is to go stop all these guys. But they have deals with the president, like, "Hey, man, we know drug trafficking is never going to go away, but we want somebody at the head that's of the cartel that's kind of somewhat." Calm is minimizing violence, right? And minimizing being in the news and stuff like that. So they know they're not going to stop it, but let's try to keep it. You know, let's try to keep it on the down low as much as possible.
Let's work with this.
You're gonna make your money, man. And they talk to that guy because Chapo would go meet with the DEA. He would talk to him on the phone and stuff, and they never like, "Hey, dude, we're not gonna go after you, but you got to give us some big guys. Like, we got to put some people behind bars because you guys are causing too much scenes. There's fucking killings all over the place. Y'all need to chill."
Yeah, as a leader, the people are gonna follow your lead. You know, if you're causing a rise, or you know, you have like this certain temperament, guess what? There's going to be an effect to that. You know, there's going to be a negative one, and like
a Black Lives Matter and Proud Boys and all these other, I don't know what do you even call them, groups that are, organizations that are, backing their
beliefs, their political beliefs,
political
beliefs,
whatever. What someone needs to come out and say is like, hey, there is going to be some legal action against you guys. Yes, it's okay to protest, but even then, I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever. As soon as you guys get violent, you guys are going to do some time. And that's the bottom line. You guys are going in. And there has to be some type of like mandate in place that you're going to do some time. It's an offense because you're not protesting the right. You're inciting like anger and hate. It's just like with people that put the Trump flags out or put the Biden flags out. You know, I've got neighbors here. I've got a neighbor here that has huge like Trump. All right, cool. Like,
what were
you're not just letting us know who you're voting for. Yeah, it's like one thing.
Crossing, or what's across the street?
And it could have been Biden, and I would have been saying the same thing. It has nothing to do with like I hate Trump that much.
Ulterior motives for doing something like that.
You're doing it to.
You're not so proud.
You're not so proud.
You're trying to poke at
it's
the
like
people
Matthew said,
who are
you're trying to
against
get a rise out of
Yeah.
someone to see what they do,
Yeah.
and you're hoping that someone goes and fucking probably pulls it off your yard. You're probably sitting in
You're
your living
testing
room.
the
You're
waters,
watching them,
you're like trying to
or
see.
in there, but like we're saying, like think outside the box. But for them, they'll argue. You know,
but to me, it's
they
like
started,
you know, like in this case, man, like so there's an elementary school, a mile down the road from my house, and it's on a pretty busy street, steep bank. Well, right across from the elementary school is kind of like a cul-de-sac, so you can see all the houses pretty much down that whole street. And there's a house. I don't know if they're white. Honestly, I don't know the race. It'd be wrong for me to say. I'm pretty sure they're white, but I don't know. Maybe probably black people. I don't fucking know. And there's a huge banner, huge banner from like the tree to like their porch in the front yard that's facing the school, like at an angle. You can clearly see it like from the front of the school. And it says, "Stop the bullshit, vote for Trump." It's like, what kind of message are you sending, bro? Like, there's fifth graders and younger going to elementary, and they're going to see that, bro.
Pretty damn blunt, but you shouldn't have said it still, right? Just because it's blunt doesn't mean it's a good thing,
Keep
right?
it to yourself.
Exactly.
What are you doing? All right, you're going to vote for Trump? Cool, man. You and your whole family are?
Kids or what?
Cool, bro. Your kids can't vote.
But people, what they wanted, I don't know. I have no idea who these people are. You would think, though, just kind of seeing how things play out on social media, he's probably wanting the kids to tell their parents or parents to see it, to complain, so they can go tell and knock on his door. He's waiting for that. He's waiting for that knock on the door. You got to take that down. No way. It's in my right. It's in my right.
And all they're going to say is, I want to see you take it from me.
I want to see you take it. Yeah. Get on my property and
take
it.
It's like mom works at the school, right? Mom works at the middle school. So for those that don't know, mom's a receptionist at a school. So parents go in pretty frequently, right? She said the other day, this guy, dad, constantly goes to get his kid for whatever reason. But he always goes in there without a mask. And the last few times he's been able to like pass, because they have somebody there like to take temperature and all that. Mm-hmm. But I guess he caught them at the right time. Like they were on break, they weren't around, something. So he's been able to make it to the front desk. And mom's kind of nervous. He's a big ass dude, like it is kind of nerve wracking. Like, hey, put your mask on.
Intimidating, yeah.
What?
So Kathy, a coworker of my mom's, who's like blunt as shit. She doesn't give a damn. She said, "Sir, you got to be wearing a mask." And he said, "I don't believe in fucking masks."
He said, "Well, are they real? I mean, they're not the Loch Ness monster."
And so, like, what do you tell them? You're not police, so you can't really enforce it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, it's just one of those things. Like, dude, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. Like, it's policy.
Mm-hmm. Those are just very stubborn people. They're just stubborn.
Though.
They have the mentality like you don't tell them what to do, and
they voted for Kanye. Easy.
No, but I guess what we were just talking about, to go back, because you asked earlier, like, how do you think we should move forward from this, or how do we move forward? Out? I mean, I guess the best thing would be, because like Michael was saying, nobody is going to stop racism. That's a little silly to think that anybody in charge or any leader can completely stop that, especially like in the next 4 years. It's not possible. The best thing would be to kind of and people are going to say like, no, in a perfect world, like we were talking about, these things would be possible. Racism wouldn't exist and things like that. But the best scenario is to just, whatever you believe, keep that at home. And just when you go out,
I'm hearing hints Mother Teresa here.
Yeah.
No, honestly though, like
whatever you believe, even if you're the most racist person ever, like, and if you teach your family that's what y'all believe at home, whatever you want to think. But when you go,
my neighbor,
when you go out, be respectable. That's the best thing that you can do. Just be respectable. You're racist deep down, all right, but guess what? I'm gonna be respectable. I don't know you, or even if I did know you, you don't know me. We don't know each other, so all I'm gonna show here is respect. No need to.
But isn't that a little far-fetched to believe that's actually going to happen too? I mean, if you're a racist, then chances are you don't have the capacity to just keep it at home. That respect is not.
Yeah, that's kind of silly. Like, well, if you're racist, then I'm pretty sure you don't know respect.
Exactly.
But the best thing,
but like you were saying, I think it's like almost like that quote from Troy, right? Like even enemies can show respect.
Even enemies can show each other respect. We don't have to like each other. You don't have to like love black people, Mexicans, Asians. You don't, or white people. You know, like you don't.
Should you? Like Madison, maybe in a perfect world,
we should. You know, in a perfect world, we would, but we don't live in a perfect world. So the best thing we can do is just, no matter what, just try to go out and try to show each other respect. You know,
and I think it all boils down to, man, like, you know, kind of wrapping at least this conversation up. You know who needs to try the hardest? The president of the United States, because we preach that this is the free world, if you will, and anyone's welcome. But if you're not going to push that agenda to make everyone feel welcome, then it's all this fucking bullshit.
And to me, that's why people are going to be like, well, then why did you vote the way you did? Well, because the person I voted for, to a certain degree, at least promotes that. Yeah. You know, in his last few speeches that like, he's done, he's 2 speeches. It's been about coming together.
Both
you know?
Presidents, if they were sitting there talking to me, I'd be like, fucking, you're full of shit. Yeah. You ain't going to do none of that.
But at least it's the face. But you know, to me, it's what like you're saying.
One thing you get with Joe, Stuttering Joe, what do they call him?
Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy Joe.
Stuttering Joe.
Because he does kind of stutter, right?
He doesn't stutter.
He's old.
He's just old. He has
damn it, he's old. He's 106.
106.
But
he was alive.
You know, the one thing with him is he talks professional. Watch, we get in there and he's like cursing and shit, like rapping and stuff.
Well, he's not even an eloquent speaker.
No, I mean, but is it? I mean,
honestly, I think out of all of them, I think the vice presidents are stronger speakers than the guys that they're backing.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think Obama was a pretty good.
No, I'm saying Kamala or Mike Pence.
The
vice presidents.
For these now,
they're like better speakers.
Honestly,
honestly, if Mike Pence was running against Biden, I'd probably vote for Pence.
Maybe.
As long as he didn't have Donald Trump.
That's the unfortunate thing about it.
Because he has to go
identify with the Republican.
He
says whatever.
Yeah, he has to, though.
Yeah.
You know, Biden did for Obama. Yeah. They have to, and you have to. That's your job. Like, back me up, dude.
Yeah.
No,
100%. But like, I think that it brings up another kind of interesting point real quick, that it's unfortunate that, because it goes both ways, right? You can say, hey, I'm voting for the Republican. Like, don't condemn the Republican Party just because you don't like Trump. Yeah. You know, his policies are actually good, but you don't like him, so you're going to condemn the whole country with Biden's terrible policies. That's kind of one of the arguments.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, they'll play that the other way, too. It's unfortunate that the Republican Party leader, the president, Trump, speaks the way he does, carries himself the way he does, says some dumb stuff. And again, I'm just going based on what I've heard him say, right? Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate because, hey, maybe you are right. Maybe the Republican Party, like you said, traditionally we would probably, fall under that Republican Party. You know, we'd be, what is it, elephants? Is that their symbol? Yeah. But, because you have a guy like Trump who's leading the helm, leading the charge, holding the reins and all that. It's unfortunate that he's caused so much dissent that, maybe people aren't even looking at the policies anymore just because they hate the guy so much. That's on you guys, though, right?
And
that's for you guys to bring. And, like, another point real quick is that you were saying, you can't kill racism. And, hey, maybe, like you said, that's the thing. People see Trump as this, like, revolutionary guy, that he's going to come. He's bringing all this change, this radical change. Because some people, like, because Mandy was saying, hey, sometimes it's good just to kind of keep the status quo, kind of, at least because it doesn't create all these problems. But it's like, that's not Trump. Trump is not your. He's not the revolutionary.
No, but my thing would be like if he stood up against the Black Lives Matter movement and said,
"That's not him." Unfortunately,
y'all need to chill the fuck out, and got on their ass, did something. I'll be cool with it. Yeah. But what are you doing for everybody else? Because there's other groups that are fighting them. Yeah. As long as it's, to me, man, like, honestly,
as long as there's balance,
as long as there's a balance and everything, treat the other side like what you're doing to these guys, I'm cool with it, dude. Because there doesn't even be
you're knocking down one side, and then you're saying these other people are good people. They're great people.
Because I had a friend, because I kind of brought this up with a friend.
Not even saying great, but like not really saying that they're not great.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Not only is he not condemning them, he's saying like they're good people. Like, what are you saying?
And real quick, like, for those who voted obviously for Trump, Republican, I don't give a shit. That's your choice. That's your opinion. That's your right to do so, right? I honestly.
At the end of the day, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, don't talk to me if you vote for Trump."
I mean, I will. But real quick, I'll just say this: is that vote for who you want to vote. I don't, whoever you want to vote for. That's who you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm saying
election night was Tuesday.
Election night was Tuesday.
Don't go vote now.
If you voted for, it's not going to count. But my point is that because so many people like. There are some people who, I don't like Trump. I'm a Republican, though. I'm going to vote for Republican. Hey, I respect that. Cool, man. At least you're honest about it. Not that honesty is always, at least you're honest, but sometimes you're honest about being a jerk or an a-hole, right? Yeah. Like, that's not cool. Like, hey, you're honest, but you're still
because there's some people who believe honesty is a good quality no matter what.
Like, I was talking to a friend. I was like, hey, man, you see some of his
you can't be an honest racist and think it's good.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, like,
just
kudos for being honest
so,
about it, but that's that's kind of even worse sometimes.
It's like hey, officer, I killed 3 people.
But at least
I'm honest,
I told you the truth. Bitch.
If anything, in a situation, you'd want them to be, like, ignorant, right? Like, at least I didn't know, like, but now I know better, right? But no, they're pretty much saying, no, I know what I did, and I'm cool with it. Like, what the fuck, you know? But I was talking to one of my friends, and I was kind of making the same points I was saying now, and I was like, look at his supporters, you know? I wasn't being as, I'm not professional right now or trying to be politically correct, but even more so then I wasn't. And she was like, hey, yeah, but you can't condemn a person, a leader in the party based on a select few of the radicals, you know? So she was like, it's like Islam's, you know, you can't blame them based on, like, the radical Islam. I'm like, I get that, you know, but I guess that's who I'm more speaking of too, you know, like, to those select few, those supporters who are using this as a platform to get change into their racist and their bigotry, you know, all their,
because it's a few of them now, but if you continue on this path, they're gonna grow and they're gonna teach their kids and you have to know friends, and that's what we're saying.
Like, why now all of a sudden have we seen such a spike in these kind of people voting? And I say these kind of people because you want to condemn racism, condemn all that. I condemn the people who are racist, and I don't condemn them, right? I have no right to do that, but I'm saying I don't think it's right for them to do it, and we have seen a spike in that demographic, right? You see it at least I've seen it on social media, right? All these Trump protesters, a lot of them are like that. And I think a lot of it, like we were saying, even Latinos, because we were joking about it, like, God damn it, like, Mexicans who are voting for Trump, like, you son of a bitch,
like,
you know?
Sold out, right?
Sold out. But it's like, hey, man, like, again, at the end of the day, what the fuck you want to do, I guess.
To me, there's some Latinos that,
but it's
that
like,
are
and
like
I think
100%
a lot of it,
up on politics.
He's preying on people's insecurities.
Yeah,
is why I don't like Trump a lot, especially, and we're changing it now to, I'm all over the place, but like Latinos, for example, he talked trash about Mexicans, and people are going to say he didn't mean them, he didn't mean all Mexicans, he meant, so, well, he should have been much more clear. He should have been smart enough to know that what he was saying was about to be really stupid and really hurtful.
And that's what
and
we're
people
talking
can say, like, people
can
honestly, but he said that when he was running president. And that's what, like,
well, that's what, like, lifted
his whole, like,
so
wall policy was, like, a big, like,
it was a big,
and they're going to say, yeah, okay, maybe he did mean, a lot of rapists and
it's kind of like his unofficial
drug
slogan,
dealers
right?
and all that. Criminals come through. Okay, whatever. You said it terrible, bro. You should not have said it like that, you know?
But that's what we're talking about. A good leader would think about these things. You know, a good speaker would think about these things.
But then you got Mexican, but then what happened?
Would have been like, you know, we're gonna put more checks and balances in place.
A smart guy, or maybe
do more checks at the border to make sure that we capture those bad people. But a deceiving guy maybe would have
seen somebody like a filter, you know?
But then you got to ask yourself, like you said, you know why? Yeah. It's like kind of like, you know why you said it, bro? Because now you're saying things where you can defend yourself on both sides. You can almost like, hey, I didn't mean that. I meant it for that. And it's kind of like on this side, hey guys, you know what I really meant. You know what I really meant.
He always puts himself in this position to where like
with the hat in there.
Almost like, hey, But he always has deniability, but also leaves those little innuendos like for people filling their gaps that use their imagination.
What pisses me off is that when you think that way, right? Like in he tried to call Mexicans out on that, and when you bring it up,
I hate Trump.
When you bring it up, you're the racist. You're the one that's thinking bad because why would you think
that?
Like he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
But then we were going back to thinking outside the box to Latinos who are voting for them, right? And from what I've seen, you know, I'm speaking in generalities here. I'm being vague on purpose. You have a lot of Latinos who took offense to that, and because they took offense to it because he was calling them out, they get insecure, and then they play, oh, he wasn't really talking about me. He's talking about those Latinos. Yeah. I'm not one of them. I'm going for Trump because he didn't mean me. Because he wasn't talking about me. He didn't mean me, you know, because they don't want to feel stupid. So no, he called your ass out too, but okay.
What y'all Latinos need to realize is that white people don't like you either. They think at the end of the day you're going to go cut their yard and all this bullshit too.
The way I see it is when it comes to that,
you believe that for real?
Oh, hell yeah.
I'll just say it like this.
White people look at us like that, bro.
I mean, I wouldn't say all, but, you know.
Most.
To those, I would say.
That's most is unfair. Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But if they look at, well, Manny's like, if they look at,
I want to fucking say
if they look at us like cutting yards, what I'm saying is that they're ignorant. Yeah. They're ignorant people to think that.
Yeah.
So they're ignorant enough to think that Venezolanos, Cubanos, Puerto Ricans are all Mexican.
I'm gonna make.
They all think that all Latin people do landscaping, do construction. That's all we're good for. You know.
And maybe Mexican Americans more specifically,
we're not,
right?
We keep saying like white people and things like that. We know that just like all Latins aren't the same. Not all white people, not all black people, not all Asians are the same either. Thing, you know, right? It's a people thing, and that's why when we talk about Trump, we say Trump supporters. We're not over here saying like, oh, white people this or black people.
And if anyone's hating on this, like, why don't we have the right to say what we really feel? But Trump does.
Yeah. Exactly. Why can't he be blunt?
How about that?
But we can't be blunt. You know?
Like, and he's a president. Yeah. So I ain't got no motherfucking senators. All y'all can kiss my ass.
Yeah, exactly.
So, dang, I forgot. So going back to the Mexicans, or you were talking about, one thing is those who honestly think like, oh, I'm with Trump, because I don't know why it makes it sound like, oh, I'm with Trump.
Like from France.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
She's so getting a Shakespeare play.
Right, like this, like, for Trump.
For those people, just know, because I'm sure they go to rallies too, not as much, and they get all like yay when they feel accepted.
I hate that they call it rallies because I think of KKK.
Yeah, but
Trump rallies.
Just know my opinion, and this is just my opinion. Opinion's an opinion; it's not a fact. But they appreciate your vote. They don't appreciate you. Yeah. You know, so
that's a hot topic. I'll be a little controversial too.
But honestly, like it goes back to look real quick, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say on politics.
I'll say this last thing real quick. I'm gonna be a little controversial here because we're talking about race and racism. It's gonna come out terribly wrong, and I'm probably gonna be hated for it. But
Trump does it all the time.
Yeah, everybody hates me.
Maybe
already.
Our podcast will grow.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, and then I'll get shot or something. Everybody hates me already, so might as well. Who cares, right? Yeah. But I would go as far to say that everybody is a little racist at the end of the day.
So the thing is, like, because I talked to Theo Hector, right? Everybody. And a little bit of racism.
Damn, you called Theo Hector's like,
no. Hey, because I don't know if y'all remember the last time he was here, Theo Eddie and Theo Carlos were here. Shout out, Heck.
Bro, they're not
Eddie
listening anymore. Nobody's
Theo
listening
Hector,
anymore.
Carlos and Theo Eddie. Yeah. It was after we played that soccer game. You remember? My Theo Hector was by himself at the house, so we invited him over. Anyway, long story short, they came over here. This was, 2 months ago, maybe? Couple months back, month and a half?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been some time, 6-8 weeks or so, more. But anyway, we're out here chilling, and we're talking about Trump. Well, it was mainly you and Theo Eddie talking about that shit and, like, arguing. And, like, Theo Carlos, me, we weren't really saying. I was trying to, like, joke about it. Well, I
was trying to joke about it, too.
I always do.
Yeah.
Right? And then we got Theo Eddie. Love you, man, but dumbass.
I love you, Theo Eddie.
Love you, Theo. We'll talk about this in Colorado in a few weeks.
He's not going with us.
He's not going. But no, Theo Hector was arguing the thing.
Trump got brought up.
And he was like, dude, I'm not racist. And Theo Eddie was like, oh, yes, you are.
If you say you're not
pretty
racist,
much,
you're racist.
No, but see, like, I defended him, right? Because they were talking about, like, racism and stuff. And what I said is everyone is biased, 100%.
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you're, because racism means like you
is the belief that you think you're better than somebody based solely on their color,
and I don't.
Yeah,
I don't hate.
No, I was joking when I said that, but
I'm biased. If I go to a bar and there's nothing but black people in there, or nothing but Hispanic people, or nothing but white people, anything of any one kind, I'm not going in that bitch. I'm leaving.
You feel out of place.
I feel out of place. Yeah. I'm like, why am I going to be the guy that's getting looked at because I'm the one different guy?
But it's just in our human nature.
But it's not racist.
It's in our human nature.
Full of Mexicans.
Huh?
The bar, why wouldn't you go in the bar full of Mexicans?
I just don't like it, bro. Maybe I'm more racist against Mexicans, I think, bro. Man. You know what? I'm going to vote for Trump.
He's going to pull his shirt open and
but honestly,
Trump.
Like, he has like a Trump thing out of his pocket.
The way I do is I go look for, my thing is like, I'm not racist because I look for diversity.
Yeah.
I want a mixture of everything in that bitch.
Yeah. That's what America is, baby.
And that's what America's supposed to be. Yeah. And like me, I'm all about it. You know, and I know Republicans, if we can get back there next time, I'm voting. That'll be my first time voting, and I'll vote for whoever the Republican is. if we get that, because
like I said, Republicans and all the Trump supporters are going to say there is no tomorrow, right? Yeah. For them, this is all in.
Yeah, well, that's their loss, and I've heard a lot of them because they've been.
No, I'm saying they think if Biden gets in, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the country. Yeah,
which it won't be, because they said that shit about Obama, and we're doing just fine.
Yeah. Tomorrow there's like an apocalypse.
Yeah,
a big ass asteroid like from Armageddon's coming.
I will real quick. I will just piggyback off Michael's thing, because that's what I meant. That's the point I was in, because people are gonna be, goddamn, you are racist, biased, right? Because racism is the belief that you are inherently better than somebody. I mean, solely based on the color of your skin, which is completely stupid and ignorant.
We've all had friends. I hate when people say, "I've had a black friend." Like, one,
yeah, and they always say it's that one weird black friend that's like, oh,
like he's more like white, all that, or mixed. Nah, honestly,
so we are not racist at all. But like Michael says, everybody has their preference. Everybody has their bias. Everybody has their cultural.
My thing is like,
identify
my thing, what I want to close the whole politics, at least for me, is I want to close it out.
All people want is the freedom to be comfortable.
And that's it. That's what it's all about. And we should have that freedom, right? Or it's not fucking freedom, right?
Yeah.
But my thing, going back to like not voting and stuff, I don't vote, not because I'm a coward or nothing. I'm not into politics that much. And I'm in fucking Texas, so Texas is always going to be Republican. I think this will probably be the closest a Democrat ever gets.
Well, we got pretty close, yeah.
I think this is the closest it'll ever get. But that just goes to show maybe the guy that was running on the Republican side lost some followers.
All the major cities voted blue, dude. Houston, Dallas, I think San Antonio and Austin.
Except Fort Worth.
But anyway, and that's cool. They have the right to do so. And at the end of the day, we go back, right? Trump, it wasn't a bash Trump. Obviously, he's the president, so who the fuck else are we going to bash? Mike Pence, no one's talking about him, like, because he's nobody. No one's going to ever bash the VP.
It comes with the territory, man.
Just, you know, you have a safety net.
At home like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Like, he has that big fly still on his head. But no, so, you know, going back to it, like, at the end of the day, I think we all grew up Republican, but you have to adapt to change is all I'm saying. And just because you're brought up Republican, if you know that guy's doing a shit job, well, okay, don't vote.
This sort of mindset is what led everything, even on both sides, what they're all both fighting. The institution, the policies, the government, the people, all that the Republicans and all the Trump supporters and all the Democrat and all the Biden supporters, everything they're fighting was brought upon by what Michael's saying, this ideology that you got to adapt, man. And Madison, you got to be open-minded. If you stuck into your things real quick, that's what's going to happen. Go for it.
But no, all I'm saying, man, is like, and that sometimes we get too far gone into certain topics, and that's why over the last few years, at least, like, I've tried my best. I've told you about it. Like, I try not to get into arguments with anybody. Because when has anyone, viewers or us three here more in particular, gotten into, well, Mandy, you've probably never been in an argument once. But when have we gotten into an argument and left where somebody's opinion changed and y'all left good? Never fucking happens, bro.
That's like I said.
So it's never going to happen when it comes to politics, religion, what you're doing at home. So to me, it's like I try to make a joke out of everything. Doesn't mean that I don't take nothing serious. It's just like I'm not going to waste my time and argue with you. One, over something that's boring to me. Two, that I don't know too much about. And three, that it's flat out, it ain't going to make a difference, bro.
These are topics where people are here to give their point of view, not to understand your point of view, because we're set in our ways in topics like that in politics.
And that's why you're like you're bringing something on, even if you go ask. So who'd you vote for, bro? You're looking for a segue to start an argument about something. Like, don't even ask. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I'll make jokes about both parties. And my thing is, at the end of the day, people should have the right to vote. All I ask, even if one person, and it might be me only, but even if one of y'all leave with this, to me, it's a win. We need to go back to the ways that we used to be. Keep that shit a secret, man. Hold it close to your heart. Hold it to your chest. If you feel 100% that way, that's cool, bro. More power to you. Go vote. Do your damn thing. And two, like, don't get so caught up in something. I don't like Trump. I never liked him. But guess what? He's been our president the last 4 years. I've never gone against him. I've talked shit behind his back, but hey, I'm living my life, right? I pay my taxes. I'm staying out of trouble. I'm doing things the American way. I love this country, right? This is my home. And I'm doing things the right way. Do I support him? At the end of the day, he's our president. Right, so whatever we're following, hey, I'm down for it. Yeah. Do I think he's an idiot? Yeah. Do I think he's a shit public speaker? Absolutely. But hey, I'm not going to go tell somebody in Russia that, right? I'm not going to go say, when they're saying fuck the U.S., I'm not going to be there, fuck them, you know, like, hey, that's where I'm from. But my thing is, like, we should have that option to pick who we want. And, like, hey, like, there's no consequences with it, man. Like, why are we going to argue? And why is all this hate about who the fuck we voted for? Guess what? We're, at the end of the day, if we're doing things for the right reason, we should all be voting because we want the best for the country. And at the end of the day, if the vote puts that person in there, we all need to come together and support that guy for the next 4 years. And hopefully in 2024, you know, your vote will be Republican or Democrat or whoever it is that you want to see there, and they'll do their thing. Yeah. That's my thing is, like, don't get caught up, not only in politics, but, like, race and all that. Like, it's...
And I just real quick, I'll piggyback off that because I think it makes a really good point. Because even... if Trump gets, I ain't going to support Trump if he gets elected another 4 years unless he proves to me.
When I say support, it's not, but I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to be going to rallies like fuck Trump.
But even more so than that, I think what you're trying to say is,
because I think that's stupid.
You know, you can't hold that hate in yourself.
Yeah.
You can't hold all that anger in you because realistically, when the fuck have you ever met the president? When do you see the president? When do you go to barbecues
you don't know
and
him
hang out
on a
with the
personal
president?
level, you know?
Exactly.
To, like,
he probably treats his staff like shit.
How does it affect you on a personal day-to-day
level? That's my thing, you know. He's a politician because nobody, except for his family or close friends, but nobody knows him on a personal level. You can't assume, you know, oh, he means this. Like, you don't know him,
And the last thing I want to say before I go take one more leak is, for God's sakes, in 2024, can we get someone good looking in that bitch, bro?
I'll run if you want me to. That's what
they've all been ugly, dude. Like, I want.
You're not hearing me. I want a good-looking guy.
Like, I've seen, like, guys in, like, I think Canada. Like, that motherfucker. Like, damn, bro, shit. You're smart and handsome.
Like to see him naked or something.
Like, who's gonna want to, like, fucking go against you, bro? You're good looking.
You're so
dude,
good
you know
looking,
what I mean?
right? Yeah.
But
like, motherfucker, I ain't go no.
Motherfucker, I ain't go no. You just gotta respect what I'm saying.
Honestly, like, I want somebody good looking to vote, bro.
Matthew McConaughey, I vote for him.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah, but also, I either want him good looking, really
but not
good
in
looking,
that one,
or really ugly, but like ugly.
Like in that one movie that he made where he's like super skinny.
Yeah, like the Dallas Buyers Matthew McConaughey.
Like that one.
Yeah, I want him that Matthew McConaughey in there.
No, and I guess just to close my little thing on this podcast on politics is like. Well, even going back to Aaron Spears, you got to learn how to speak, baby, or it's important.
It's important, baby. You got to learn how to speak. Everybody got something to bring to the table, but if you can't communicate it, nobody's going to understand.
I think no matter what, most people, and there's some weird people out there, but most people fight for what they think is right. You know, most people out there are trying to do good, promote good. That's why I think people take things like politics,
as misconstrued as it may be.
Yeah. Even if it's off the charts, most people, especially when, that's why topics like religion and politics, these are such controversial topics because everybody is so passionate about these topics. And they're passionate because they believe their views are right. You know, they're coming from, most people, a good place in their heart, or what they believe is right, you know, growing up, loyalty that they were taught, you know, loyalty to your beliefs, your family, your values, things like that is what they believe they're fighting for. And that's the most important thing to most people. But my thing is just try to see two sides to everything. And there always is two sides to everything, you know. As a kindergarten teacher, you know, if one kid came and was tattling on somebody else, I wasn't going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, and believe everything they said just because they told me it happened. You got to go to the other person and what happened? What's your point of view? You know, what's your point of view? And you take that information and you come to the conclusion yourself and you spank them. And you come to the conclusion after you've heard two sides and what you believe in, you run with that. You know, I just hope that people take that point of view too. Like you understand that there's not just one outlet, you know, that there's another side, another point of view, and no matter what you vote, and this goes with everything, not just voting, you know, it's when you're picking friends or when you're, you know, have issues in your family, there's two sides to everything. And the most important thing is like, I quoted Mother Teresa. Eric always makes fun of me because I always quote her for everything, but it's because I have this book and she, you know, she's like giving her wisdom. She just says, if you want to change anything in the world, the only thing you can really control is go home and love your family, because that's where everything starts. The future is in your home. You know, whatever you teach your kids, whatever y'all practice in home, they're going to go out and they're going to do that, you know. So if at home you're teaching your kids to respect other people, they're going to go out and do that too. And hopefully it's things like that that really make a difference in the world, because guess what? These kids are going to go out and they're going to know, or not only them, but us, you know, we're going to actually practice these things out there. Doesn't matter who the president is, just try and, you know, go out and respect people, because I mean, whether it's Trump doesn't care about you. That's the bottom line. You know, he doesn't know you, you know. Same he sees America.
Biden doesn't care about
just
you.
Like Biden. No politician really cares about you. They don't know you on a personal level. They don't know your struggles, what you've been through. Like, only you know what you've got to do for your family. And I mean, that's, to me, the only way things will ever change or have a chance of changing is being open-minded and just trying to show that keep that respect, because when you're so close-minded, like, I mean, there's gonna be people, and it would have been the opposite way, you know. We just said, like, if Trump would have won, we would have been like, oh, I don't like him, whatever. There's gonna be these people like, nope, Biden's not my president, you know. No. It's just like, come on, you got to make the best of the situation. And
like, what are you gonna do, stop working and go
what are you gonna do now, you know, really? Like,
if y'all moving and y'all selling shit, let me know. I'll probably buy it.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm gonna go live in Brazoria County, because that's not Texas.
I had and this is gonna maybe it's kind of gonna take this a different direction, but I did have one thing. Oh, so that's my closing.
You've been saying one thing, girl.
Like,
well, I'll let you get right back to it, but I guess my thing.
Yeah.
It's just I agree completely with what both of you have said throughout the whole thing, and what your closing remarks on the politics topic, at least, and mine, just to add on to that, or even just to reiterate, is I think people just got to be honest with themselves at the end of the day. Honestly, you got to just be completely 150% honest with who you are, know your limits, know what you know, like The Rock says on WWE. You got to know your role and shut your mouth, right?
Well, that's what I vote for in 2024.
Yeah, if he runs, I'll vote for The Rock. Yeah, honestly, but just it's just about being honest with yourself, knowing your limits, understanding where you're limited, understanding where your qualities are. Thing, though, man. And I think that's where it just comes down to it. And like, we're talking about politics specifically. It's like, hey man, like, if you vote for this guy, like Mandy was saying, just be open-minded, be honest with yourself. Why are you doing it? Ultimately, what is the core to what you're doing? And is it worth it? You know, is all this hate and violence? And some people are going to say, yeah, you're damn right, it's worth it, because the country's at stake.
But like, worth it to what? Like, what are you trying to change?
Exactly. Like, yeah, you're dead, because I don't want to 10 years from now be under a dictator. Well, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, obviously, if it's kids, if you see that, I mean, but
like all white, all black world, like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's if that's what you honestly believe, I can't. Like Mike said, nobody's gonna change your damn mind. If you believe that, just you got to do what you got to do. But that'd just be my thing. Just be honest with yourselves, honest with who you are, know where you come from, know where they come from. Ultimately, like Mandy was saying, go home and love your family. What are those fundamental roots that kind of, you know, that you came forth from? Like, understand that and just, yeah, be honest with yourself, I guess, without going on too much of a ramble.
One last thing I forgot to mention is because, and the reason I'm just saying is because I know that's why I did it. It's like, if you're, but like, no, but y'all don't understand, like, it's Republican, conservative, don't y'all want to keep, like, Christianity and the country and stuff? It's like, well, yeah, but all of y'all who voted for him for those reasons, are you truly doing that at home? You know, like, are you sticking,
even when a
like,
Democrat's been in place, it doesn't mean that you're less Christian.
Yeah, you know, like,
church, you have that option.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about the country, is like, it doesn't matter who's at the helm. You have that option to do what the fuck you want.
I think most of us, if we knew there was a president saying no, there's not going to be no more Catholics or no more Muslims.
Like, okay, well then, yeah, we definitely wouldn't.
Then that's when people would just be saying,
all right,
I'm leaving.
Yeah, like,
but like, even this idea, like, oh, so you stand,
ass,
you know, like, they like, oh, you say you vote for Biden, oh, so you stand for abortion, you stand for that. Well, no, I don't personally. But guess what? No matter who I voted for, even if Trump wins, guess what? These things are happening out there. You know,
there's going to be abortion every
I can only control what I do at home. No, I'm against those things, but I can only control what I can control.
And guess what?
You know?
If both parties one day said no abortion's still going to happen.
Exactly.
So,
just like they say no drugs and no.
And people equate that with giving in or succumbing and all that. So, well, maybe. It's
honestly,
but
like going back to the Bible, and out of all my siblings, I'll be the first one to admit that I've probably been the furthest away from God and the Bible in particular and stuff. But even I still try to instill it in my kids, right? And we talk about it and stuff at home, and they believe, not that I don't. I'm just saying they're more savvy when it comes to religion and stuff than me. That's a knock on me. That's a bad thing for me. But it's the Bible and religion in particular leaves things. They mean what they say. I guess I'm probably screwing it up, man. You can talk about this a little bit and clean it up for me. But there's a lot that you can interpret or misinterpret, rather yet. There's not the Bible doesn't tell you do this, do that. Dad says a lot of things, and sometimes, you can misinterpret it or interpret it many different ways. Yeah. Like, no, it means this.
Our dad would be the biggest advocate for that. That it's all in the eye of the beholder, how you interpret it.
But you have to be smart enough to know this is what it means. Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
This is what it means.
And that's what it's coming down. Like,
this is what it means for me and my family, and it's the right thing. What we feel is the right thing. We're not doing nothing stupid, illegal. I'm not using it in my own benefit. This is what we do, and that's what we're going to carry out.
And that's kind of how I went with it, and I'm not in saying, like, I can't stand how a certain party is placing themselves to be more righteous than the other. I feel like I'm doing that by sitting here and talking about it, but I'm just trying to state why I chose to vote the other way. And it's because that's one reason I always voted Republican, because I felt like, I'm doing better by, voting.
Well, even though you voted Democratic, doesn't mean that you agree with it.
No, exactly.
It's like going to it like gays and stuff. And I'm going to give it back to you right now, but it's the same thing, right? I don't condone being gay, bisexual, none of that. Right? Or same-sex marriage. God,
here we go, right? Now we lost all our viewers.
I don't condone any of that. Personally, when I say condone, it's not something that I'm going to say, man, I'm cool with it. I'm not going to lie.
It's not something you wish for, honestly.
It's not something that
I
really, wish for.
Well, but ultimately, I don't think it's something that we
like you guys
care too much
You guys always
about,
say,
right?
Until it hits home. Yeah. What am I going to do one day if my son turns out gay or my daughter turns out gay?
Or your brother Jonathan.
Or, well, I know they're gay. but if that happens, what am I going to say? Am I going to be a hypocrite if I say, in the Bible it's wrong, but I love you, you're a hypocrite? It's like, you can't have both. Yeah. You can't, I accept you, but everyone else that's gay, I hate them. Like, no. Guess what? Everyone that's saying that is full of shit, because they're going to love their kid no matter what. And here on earth, you're going to pick your son over what you interpreted all the previous years of your life. And that's the thing I take it back. And that's kind of being open-minded, though. Like, that's, rolling with the punches, day-to-day stuff. What are you going to do? Yeah. Not to call her out. I love her to death. I think she's a great woman and been very, very strong her whole life. Pretty much a mom through our dad, Tia Hela. Great person. Great family. Gilberto, he's my guy. But they have a daughter, right, that's going through something like that. They were raised Catholic their whole life. Tia Hela, she's Christian and stuff still. What she say? Oh, fuck that. You can't, it's not either or. You can have both. You can believe in God still and have a daughter. That's it. Your opinion on certain things changed, and that's okay. That's okay. People can say, like, well, God doesn't think so. Well, goddamn, like, we're not running a fucking concentration
in that sense,
camp.
And I don't want to. I know by saying this that we could go off on a tangent and go somewhere else, but I just want to say, when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, to me, it's like that's that person's battle. I don't even know what you would call it, but that's between them and God. Who are you to say like, oh, I know what's best for you because God says this about you? Like, that's not your battle to fight, like, everybody has a relationship with God, and who are you to say, oh, you're going to hell because of this, or like, I'm so against you? Like, why? God to me, in my opinion, God created everything, everyone. And
if they failed that test,
if that is the wrong thing, if that is opposite of what God wants, well, that's between them and God. You're nobody. I don't think we're anybody to say like what is expected or what's to come for somebody, you know, like we have their life, like, you know, I just
it's a very it's very controversial, because I mean we're talking about politics, and then we're talking about things in the Bible that ultimately come down to like morality, right? Like good and evil. And like Michael's saying, you know, the Bible was written, you know, just from what I've learned, what I believe, it's written as I don't want to get all cliche with it, like I sound like a priest and I'm lecturing or giving my, you know, homily.
But the reason I asked for you is because honestly, man, like you're really in depth with the Bible.
Your theology.
Your theology.
Appreciate it.
So.
Thank you. Nah.
No, but I guess
I just didn't want to say the wrong thing.
No,
I was wrong.
No.
I
mean, hey, I think that's the point. Like Maddie's saying, it's none of us
someone
for us to say.
Someone that's raised so Catholic, and then have that, and I say that. See, even saying that is like something bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, fuck, who am I to judge?
Yeah,
I ain't nobody to judge.
Like you said, when it hits home, right? I mean, for us, it was obviously.
I don't know what that's gonna bring for me.
What is
18
what your
when
cross
my daughter or son turned 18.
But I mean, obviously, like the Bible, like ultimately, even priests and all that will tell you it's a means to a way to live your life, and it's a very personal, spiritual thing. It's also a very communal thing. It's a you know, obviously. If you want to talk about we were meant to be here on earth, but ultimately that's not where the destination is. You got to believe in heaven and hell. Those are obvious, purgatory if you're Catholic and whatnot, but heaven is the goal now, right? That's the goal, to be with God and in heaven ultimately. So, but like what I'm saying, just real quick, homosexuality, any topic, abortion, whatever you want to talk about, those are issues of morality, right? And when you got a government, you know, it's politics. It's like that. I mean, I sure as shit don't have the answers. I don't have no idea how it would even come back to that. But I just know, should it be? I don't know. I don't know if it should be difficult. I just know current state, we're all flawed. We're all humans. We all sin. We all make mistakes. If you want to say homosexuality, abortion's a sin, very bad sins. Okay, a lot of other things are sins too. One of the 10 Commandments, don't covet. I mean, how do you make that a law? How do you make coveting a law? Mm-hmm. You know, like stealing's a law. Yeah, obviously you can't steal, but that's what I mean. Like it's hard to fuse morality.
It's a very complicated thing when you try to fuse politics and religion.
All policy, all government should be, and this is just in general, just should be built on morality. Meaning there's a right way to do things and there's a bad way to do things. And government should be leaning on, this is the right way to do things. This is going to be the best for, this is the way to do it, right? Because if we do this, that's the same reason why they don't let murder happen. It's illegal. Not because it costs money. It's like, no, it probably costs money to put people in jail, right? It's like, no, it's wrong because it's immoral. It's not a right thing. Stealing, it's immoral. It's based on morality, right? So now we're getting to that point, like, okay, is this really immoral? It's a very controversial at this point, right?
To take it, I guess that's what it means to me.
Mandy said, like, hey, that's for, like, man, that's between them and God, right? That's none of our I mean, obviously we can judge. Like I said, it's in human nature to judge.
You're not going to look the other way, right? When you see a neighbor, and you're not going to be like, well, that's between you and God. Like, obviously,
but the rule of thumb usually, like I've come to find, is usually if you have a bad thought, because thoughts are kind of the drivers of our actions, right? If you have a bad thought about somebody, that's not ultimately the end goal of that thought. You can always spin it into a good thought, kind of, right? Mm-hmm. For example, if you want to take an abortion, she had an abortion is bad, right? That can be a way to condemn somebody. That's like people stop it right there. Fuck it, it's bad, you're bad. So, well, take it a step further. It's bad, but obviously you're a person. God if you're a person of faith, you believe in God and whatnot, God created you. You're here for a reason. Who am I to judge you and condemn you? Like you are I am. I mean, I don't have to tell anybody. You go read the Bible.
It's like the Bible is thou that hasn't sinned, like throw the first stone.
Fuck the log in your brother's eye. Yeah. I mean, there's all these parables you can read, right? You're not going to come to me or Michael or Mandy or my Thea Hella. I mean, they probably can give you great advice, or anybody, but ultimately it's an inward battle for the most part that you're having to deal with, right? Yeah. The day to day, you're dealing with your own your life. It's life, man. Honestly, you're given things. Obviously, sometimes you don't know where they come from. You don't know where they're going, but you got to deal. Like Michael said, roll with the punches, and you try to do your best. Like on Bedazzled, we saw the movie last week. You want to do good. You hope you do good.
I think
we did pretty good. Yeah. So now, but
I guess I'm saying this more so. Well, not so people understand. Not to prove anything to prove anything to other people. Maybe just to prove something to myself. I'm here trying to justify why I voted or did a certain thing, and it's because like I feel a little bad, like normally I do this, I vote this way, and this time I went another way. But the way I took it was, if I kind of reflect on being a Christian, I think the most important thing we preach, or the church, religion, whatever your religion is love thy neighbor. I think that's the most important thing. I believe as a Christian, that's why we're put here on earth. That's the ultimate goal, is just to love each other, love your neighbor. So I think that triumphs abortion, like laws against abortion. I'm sure that is in the Bible somewhere about having an abortion. I don't know if it specifically calls abortions out, but thou shalt not kill and stuff. It says that, but what does the Bible mostly do? It tells you to love each other. And I just felt like from this other party, that's not what was going on. It was completely opposite. It was promoting hate. Yeah. And to me, that's a bigger sin, I guess, if you want to call it that, than having a law for abortion or having a law for this or that. Just this promotion and this growth of hate is greater than all of that, and I'd rather put a stop to that hate than put a stop, or a law.
To end it, we're all screwed.
Yeah.
This earth is screwed. This society is screwed.
So my thing, I just wanted, since we were talking about politics and religion, we kind of got into religion right now. I brought us there, sorry. But
Yahweh.
One last thing, I just want to see what y'all think, because I have to pee too, is...
Well, you can't go over there.
Yeah, I know. So I was just thinking, when I was little or growing up... I used to think, because, in the book of Revelations, it talks about an antichrist, coming one day. And in no means am I saying Trump is an antichrist.
I think you are.
But I used to believe, because Mom used to tell us, they say the antichrist, we're all going to love him and praise him and, whoever it is. And I used to think, no, that's no way, how as Christians will we not be able to identify, an antichrist, how could we love somebody who is the opposite of, love, what God stands for? But it's I see how easy that is, man. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying Trump is the antichrist. But it's scary to think how so many people can just get behind somebody and no matter what he says, it's they'll follow him to the end of the earth, And it's now I know how we get there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you said, you lose yourself, and this isn't take it for however you want to take it, whoever listens. Everything we say here, like I said before, if you're getting offended by what we're saying, that's on you.
Now we're talking about an antichrist.
Everything said here is said with good intention.
Yeah,
nothing here is said, obviously, to shit on. We shit on Trump a lot today, but that was just giving an honest opinion. It's almost like shitting on a celebrity. They're seen as mythical creatures, like Jim says in The Office, right? But when we get talk personal and all that, it's never with bad intention, malintention. But so if you want to take it critical, however you want, if I'm talking to you, I don't mean to, I guess I'm just talking to talk right now. But if you're saying how easily you can be deceived and whatnot, you got to look at yourself too, right? How easily you can lose yourself. And I guess that's a big argument, which is ultimately why I said we are screwed. Little by little, you start losing and losing until eventually you get to a point. Like Maddie said, in hindsight, you think, it's so fucking obvious. It would be so obvious that the devil, why would you follow the devil? It's so obvious. Mm-hmm. But little by little, over a lifetime, over a person's lifetime, over generations, you start giving in, little by little, giving in. And, if we want to talk about the humanity, right? But we're talking more specific for us. Throughout our lives, you give in little by little by little. And pretty soon you get to a point where you know, you're not even who you were, who you thought you'd be. You know, it's like, damn, how did I end up here? You know, and it's just, you got to be vigilant. You know, it's very hard. It's an ongoing...
I guess that's what the reason I brought that, because people are going, God dang, now we're talking about Antichrist. Like, no, I'm just, I guess my driving point is just be, like you said, be vigilant of what you follow, what you believe. Like, just check yourself every once in a while.
You better check yourself.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Because blah, 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 blah.
That's
sometimes,
it, you know.
You know, kind of what I want to end it on is sometimes we get caught up in all this, like, social media and, like, what's going on today that we don't even got things checked at home, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my thing is, like...
Or with ourselves.
You know, like, you know, we can't be pieces of shit at home and as a person, but think we're going to give our opinion on who should be the president.
That's like, man, say, go home and love your family, right?
Take some steps back, look at yourself, fix your shit at home.
Worry about your shit,
and then you can give an opinion. Because guess what, man? Like, the president ain't going to fix things at home for you.
Yeah.
He
said he would. Like, he's going to.
He said no. He's going to.
He
I believe him.
Everybody.
I believe
he loved me.
Yeah, he said he loved me. He made love to me. Yeah, he made love to me too. No, so
and that's the biggest thing, man. So for all you people that are still with us, maybe day 4 of listening to the podcast. Honestly, like, it was me and Matthew kind of like not rehearsed it, but we talked a little bit about coming on today, and like, well, honestly, honest to God, we didn't vote. Yeah, but we kind of wanted to stir the pot. I think Trump's an idiot.
No, honestly,
I love the Republican Party. I think
I don't even know.
If we had a better candidate in there, I would have voted for him. But I don't vote. Yeah. But I would have supported, and it wasn't we didn't come in here to like bash Trump. It just got away from us kind of a little bit. But I mean, we're calling out stuff that if you don't see it and if you think you're smart, then man, you need to like.
Check yourself.
Check yourself at home. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. But no, honestly, I mean, at the end of the day, and like we said, are we moving? Fucking if Trump wins again, hell no. Like, hey, it is what it is. And
again,
man.
Like you said at the beginning,
I'm gonna keep doing my damn thing, and I'm gonna keep doing like what. I don't care.
I don't care.
No, at the end of the day, it's that because what have I said since the very beginning? It's like
I don't know.
I care about my day to day. At the end of the day. My job is to go to work, working from home. So go to my office, fucking 20 feet away, and work and provide.
And then people argue with you though. Hey, that's small-minded, bro. You're looking at little picture. You got to empathize more with that. You got to care more about others and care about the future generation and the future lives and your children's lives. It's like, no, come on. You're telling me that, but what do you do?
I pay my tax. I pay.
You're 16.
I do everything
you know,
the right
you're
way.
fucking 16.
You're 16. Goddammit. You pay fucking bills.
No, really, that's what it comes down to ultimately. Like you were saying, chickadee, check yourself before you wreck yourself. No, I mean, but like you were saying, what the fuck were you saying? You were saying something else?
No, I was just saying, like, at the end of the day, man, the way I live my life is day to day. Not day to day. Not that I don't have plans.
Exactly. Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Not that I'm an idiot.
Leonardo DiCaprio over here.
Yeah.
I wake up.
No. What I mean is like
I'm dining with
what I mean is like affecting me and my family, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't give a fuck if I get goddamn what's his name from Microsoft,
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates and that motherfucker. He ain't gonna do nothing for me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I still have to go to work and pay my mortgage, pay my cars, pay my utilities, and put food on the table for my family.
Deal with your gay brother, Jonathan.
You don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck if I'm here today and on the street tomorrow.
Even know None of them are.
Do. Yeah. They don't give a fuck.
And exactly. And there, I mean, obviously, we came at this topic, like Mike said, we don't even, we didn't. You guys know we've said this on many podcasts. We don't rehearse anything we talk about. Obviously, we knew it was election week. We told each other, yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, I guess. It was never our intention to go fucking 2+ hours talking about it. But, I mean, it was never our intention to not do it as well.
Just going with the
flow. To kind of put it on to close, whatever, because I think we said our piece, whatever. We're not claiming to be educators. We're not politicians. We're not even, hey, man, you probably shouldn't listen to us, honestly. Like Mandy said, go home and you have your family. Do what you guys got to do for you. You know, we're in no way we're not influencers. We're not trying to influence you.
And in saying that, in no way am I insinuating that I've got it all figured out when I go home, you know.
Likewise, yeah.
You know.
And people can argue on here if you're watching it and you're saying, hey, well, y'all didn't even bring up, y'all bash Trump. but you guys didn't even bring up policies. You didn't bring up his policies on economics. That's how little I know about
my policy is that Monday through Friday I go to work and Saturday.
Yeah, exactly, right. But people are going to say, you didn't vote for Trump, you hate on Trump, but you don't even know his policies. That's ignorant of you guys. Maybe it is.
And y'all dudes message them to us. Hit us up on comments and email.
Comment, do something. Let us know.
Say what his policies are. I don't want to hear no stupid shit.
Or hit me up. We'll get you on here. We'll get your ass talking about it. We reached out to a few people. Unfortunately, it was my fault.
Imagine if we did a call-in, like, hello, you're talking to G4U's and podcast.
Honestly, I'd be, because that's the thing that I ask all Trump supporters. And I fuck with them.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you vote for him? Well, because this. Because
who talks like that? Who do you think
what?
that was? Where he was like, well, because this.
But because this. Like, when has he ever talked about that?
All your Mexicans who voted for him combined with like the white suburban moms, like they combined.
They morphed into one. Well, because this.
Well, because this.
Yeah, that's like that was all. That was an infusion.
It's because Coles had this MAGA hat on sale, and I bought that bitch.
Nah, man. But even people who
where do you even buy that stuff?
It's part of his campaign. So whatever.
Trump.com.
Well, most. I mean, unless you make it, but like these signs and stuff, these shirts, the hats, they're all part. Like you buy it, they send it to you.
There's some ugly hats,
and they collect it as part of their campaign money.
Yeah, but no.
There's some ugly ass hats.
But I saw this thing, and it's true.
But
I'll never be able to see a red hat the same way. When you see a red hat, do you automatically think it's one of those Make America, like an all red one?
See, and that's inciting the worst out of us because there is
on the defense.
There is a truth.
I just know they're ugly. I want to tell them like bend that bitch a little bit, bro.
They're like flat.
Or it looks like they just got sewed in with one thread.
But he doesn't even put them on all the way. It's like resting on his hair.
He doesn't have his toupee to come off, bro. That's why.
Is it a toupee?
No, I think they just comb it a certain way.
His hair?
Yeah.
Really? It's real?
I think it's real. They just like, if you notice,
I feel like if you were to
I was watching him.
It would just...
No, I was watching him last night or whenever he came out and gave his speech, and his hair, if you notice it, like from here, they just comb it forward. So I think his
bald.
hair, yeah. I think it's just receding.
No, they have to paint it a little or something.
No, it's his hair. Well, I don't know, but they just like comb it like
over the bald spot.
But my last thing, because we were talking about policies and all that. Some people, obviously, you have your reasons for voting for Trump. Ultimately, I don't think. Like, I think what our point is, like, okay, it's not just because of the merit of the guy himself, right? Like his personality or his speaking and all that. It's because maybe he's done something that you like, gun policies, a tax law, whatever, you know. But even then, it's like you can't condemn somebody because ultimately what you're doing is preference as well, you know? It benefited you. That's what you like, that it benefited you and your beliefs, right? So don't say like you're going and doing this for humanity.
Yeah,
or like
sorry that we didn't even tap into any.
You're putting your beliefs on somebody else, just like the other parties you're claiming they're doing to you.
Like Matthew said, you know, we sat here and talked politics, but we didn't even tap into any of those policies. But to be honest, you can't. There's too much noise going on to even like focus on the policies. Yeah. It's not even about policies anymore.
What the fuck does a policy even mean? Is there like a contract or what the hell?
The policies that they talk about are policies that have been in place for so long.
Oh yeah, but like if Trump put a policy into place about, I don't know, whatever the fuck. Is there like a PDF you can go find online or read it?
He's got to do an encrypted email.
Well, if you go to their websites, they give you an outline of what.
No, but I mean like the actual policy, like word for word, like
that motherfucker ain't even seen it, bro.
No, I'm sure he hasn't, right? I mean, that's what I mean. Like, how many people have actually read the whole
I didn't even get my second stimulus, bro.
What the hell happened to that?
Well, they said they're pushing, hoping they can get it out.
Who's pushing?
The
Republicans?
End of the year. I don't know.
Because I'm voting Trump.
I don't know. Hey,
it's 5 days after
it's the Democrats who want to push it out.
If the independents would have been in power, they would have fucking had 6 stimuluses out this year.
Everybody just needs to get drunk. Just get drunk one weekend and fuck it, and you'll be best friends.
Honestly, if y'all drink every weekend and stuff, like, y'all forget about all this bullshit.
Because you'll be too hungover to worry about it. Like, you're just going to be, God, I need to do what I got to do to get ready for work on Monday morning, right? I can't worry about anything else because I'm too hungover, right? No.
Don't do that.
Honestly, guys, so obviously this is not a political forum. We're not an influence podcast. We're not a podcast that tries to push any beliefs on anybody.
And right now we think we're still talking
honestly,
to people, but
that was not.
Honestly, you know, if what's his name, the dude that's in prison for the Lions, what's his name that was real popular this year?
The
Tiger King.
If that motherfucker ran, the stupid ass fucking dumbass people would have voted for him too.
Yeah.
That bitch would be the next president of the U.S.
That's scary.
And his VP would have been that lion.
Yeah.
That tiger.
What's the song he wrote? 'Cause I saw a tiger.
That motherfucker made so much money, man. Like, he's in prison.
He's gay.
And that other lady, what's her name? Carol Baskin.
The one he hated, right? Carol Baskin.
Killed her husband. Whacked. How did they get so popular?
You wrote a pretty good song.
I'm living my life the right way, and I get popular for shit.
You're thinking of that.
Like I lose a friend every day.
In a slow hell. Different girl.
Right, you heard me? I said I live my life the right way, and I lose a friend every day.
Hey, and man. You lost 5
and
more.
He lost.
DJ, you're still my friend, right, bro?
He voted for Trump.
They're like, nah, bro.
Better not.
Bitch, you better not.
I got your J's, nigga. I'll burn them.
Nah, guys. Obviously, the intent of these podcasts is just for stimulating conversation at the very most.
Again, like we should put like a warning sign, right?
Disclaimer.
Like may trigger.
Yeah,
like,
may piss you off. But that's everybody.
But this is just our opinion.
That's just our opinion. I
think
like I said, at the very end, you can respect us.
If it pisses you off, go hug your Papi Trump, and he'll make you feel better.
Your what?
Papi Trump.
Oh, your Papi Trump.
Did you know that there's a song for him? That these like, I think they're Cuban or something. They put like Latinos for Trump. Yeah, You've heard it? I don't even know if I can find
let's
it.
Play it. Let's play it.
But it's like
all right, we're going to play this badass Trump song. And Michael, look it up.
We're going to play it and then end it from there.
Let me see.
Well, while they're looking up the song, I'll say a couple of things.
No, don't.
Real quick, obviously, if you know us, which I think most of the Instagram followers who do know us or knew us at some point, like I said, no bad intentions, obviously. We love, especially if you're family, we love you. If you're friends, you're our friends still. Ultimately, what we care about is like, hey, man, are you a badass person to come have a drink with? If you are,
Canción de Trump.
Let's do it.
Gun what?
Canción de Trump.
Gun. So,
who sings it?
It's Los Tres de
take it for what it is. Go home. Do what you got to do, obviously. I mean,
Los Tres de
for nobody to tell
Havana.
you how to live your lives at the end of the day.
Done, man.
This is how we're going to end the podcast.
All right, so we're going to end the G for Guzman podcast with the little clip. Or the
but no,
snippet
appreciate
of the
y'all
song.
joining. At the end of the day, we didn't mean any bad.
No.
Yeah.
We say what we feel.
Yeah.
You guys say what you feel. And like I said, I didn't like Trump 4 years ago, but, I still respect, chain of command.
This is just our opinions.
Just
I mean, if we
opinion,
can't say our opinions on a podcast, like, what's the point of having a podcast?
Sleepy Joe might fucking die tonight. I don't know.
Who?
Sleepy Joe.
He said Fat Joe, bitch. I was like,
well,
him too.
If he would have ran, I would have voted for him.
Oh, no.
Lean. That would have been perfect with the COVID, right?
With
like
the national anthem.
Lean back. Lean back.
That's my policy,
yeah,
right?
That's our policy. Lean back. Fucking, I would have voted for his dumbass. That's how brainwashed I am, right? Yeah. No, guys.
Him and Ja Rule as his VP.
They had a song together?
Well, that's it,
That's
right?
it.
The Lean Back?
Yeah.
Fucking Ja Rule. God, I wonder what
he's working
doing.
at Denny's right now. All right, guys.
All right.
But that's it for the G for Guzman podcast. We love you guys, obviously. Like,
don't
subscribe, follow. We're going to have
don't
some more
hate
episodes.
us.
Hey,
don't hate us.
We will have some more people coming on. I hope
don't hate us because we Democrat.
Bitch, I never said I was a Democrat. All right, but
I'm
don't label
INDEPENT. Do you know what that
means? No, but we do have plan on having some people who can probably give a much better explanation of what's going on. And, I mean, I reached out to Salito, and unfortunately he couldn't be here this weekend because he said he didn't like us. No, he said he was busy. And Ross.
Notice there are Republicans.
All the Republicans coincidentally couldn't.
All the Republicans are
I don't even know. I'm assuming they are. But
hey, everybody didn't like us before. Now they're going to use this as as a reason.
Or they're going to set us up. They're going to come humiliate us on the podcast.
Dude, you voted Democrat. Yeah. You damn right.
No. Well, bitch, we didn't even vote. So why are you making it seem like you voted? You're damn right. I know, we did it. But no, so we're looking forward to having you guys, and hopefully, if you guys are watching this far, or anybody's watching, I know we've had Eagles, we've had Tito, we've had Carlitos, my buddy David's been on, Johnny. I don't know where the fuck you are, but you guys can probably give a much better.
I wonder if they vote in space.
Did. Who?
If they vote in space where Johnny's at?
Nah, his bitch is trying to find air somewhere or something like oxygen.
Who?
Jonathan, because he's in
space
with aliens.
Yeah,
hey, honestly, and I know my sister and her husband did it. And I want to make fun of them real quick. But, like, if you posted, like, your little sticker of I voted on Instagram.
You did that?
I put it on Nicholas.
Tonight.
Oh, how convenient.
If all the ones that stayed with us listening, or whenever you listen to this, I know some people watch little by little or listen little by little. if you posted a sticker on Instagram or any social media, get a big glass, the tallest glass you have, fill it with cold water and pour it on yourself.
No, fill it with a cold beer
because he didn't vote.
Fill it twice. Fill it once with a cold beer and pour it all on yourself. And then fill it again and then chug it because you need some redemption.
And then sleep outside.
Jonathan wouldn't vote. I was like, God, son of a bitch.
But that's where we're at.
That's where we're at. This is what's happening in the world. No, but we obviously have some people who would have come on. We'd love to hear you, get you guys on. Republican, Democrat, liberal, gay, straight.
Alien.
If you're a thief, just don't steal our shit, obviously.
Just don't steal our shit.
Don't steal our shit. Murderer, just don't murder us. No, that's too far. Too far. No, but that's it for us. GforGism podcast. Thank you guys so much for indulging us. Mandy G, that's Mike G, Matt G, and Mike G's playing this bullshit ass song.
Oh my God.
I would have danced a little bit though. If the Sonora Dinamita would have sang that song, I would have liked it. Yeah.